this. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
There really is still just no games, man. I always go back to this marathon thing right here to see if there's anything new. There's just nothing. Solo leveling, from what I understand, is it's a gotcha. Gotta pay money. Man. Oh, we got a sim game. Oh, let's go.
Hey, name's
Maybe.
Tom, and I work on the docks. I've heard the song, so save the jokes. Maybe you don't realize, but almost everything you own has to go through me first.
Oh. I've actually got some news about my strike that I supposedly got. Is there anything else? There's this. So, I got struck on that Friday, right? So I look up at my notifications yesterday, and they actually removed the strike. In fact, I have a picture of what it says. See if I could find it. Right here. It says your content breaking news of the stream name was removed due to a violation of our community guidelines. We realize you may not have known this was a violation, so you did not get a warning or strike. That was sent the day after I had 4 different people, including a supervisor at YouTube, tell me they could not remove the strike. It was sent that Saturday, and I got it on Friday. I see you. Nice intimidation tactic, but maybe it'll work on somebody else.
Pit of Agonies! Hear our challenge! Do your worst!
The pit accepts. The cycle resumes. Young Spartans seek to make themselves men.
So, how was it in there? I think we did pretty good. You going back in?
Why not? Let's go.
The agonies await.
Wait, what is that? What is this? Is this a cheat code? What is this? Why is this here? What is this?
Await.
Huh. The only game that matters in life itself. That's right. Well, actually, it's not one game. It's more like 3. Bro, just imagine what the Sisters of Fate's island is gonna look like whenever we revisit it in the remake. I bet that island is gonna be like it was beautiful in the PlayStation 2 version. I used to know a cheat code in the PlayStation 2 version that would automatically upscale the HD. Like, you would put it in just before the start screen. You'd hold, like, L1. I even still remember it. L1, R2, L2, L1, R1, R2, L2, it was start and select, and if you held those things down whenever you launch the game, the letters would turn like a pink, purple, or magenta color, and that would show that you're in HD mode. I remember that.
Zeus! Your son has returned.
Hey, what's happening?
Do we want to start out of the gate with that? No, let's do this. Oh man, check out the critical drinker.
The BAFTA's basically a low.
Whoa, hold on. Hold on.
Get away! Get away from me!
IGN did a review on Resident Evil.
Within the hallways of the sinister sanatorium where Resident Evil Requiem's opening hours take place lies some of the most frightening encounters I've experienced in the series to date. With my headphones on and the lights off, the 9th mainline adventure in Capcom's long-running survival horror saga forced me to endure moments so palpably tense and prolonged, I discovered muscles to clench that I didn't previously know I had. Hours later, I was no longer holding my breath, but holding my fist in the air instead, as I gleefully mowed down masses of undead meat sacks like it was D-Day in World War Z.
Damn!
In an effort to please both survival horror stalwarts and action horror advocates, Resident Evil Requiem runs the gore-soaked gamut from anxiety-inducing chills to trigger-happy thrills.
That's awesome.
The result is yet another supremely hair-raising horror story, despite the fact its most potent scares have all been delivered by the time it arrives at its more gloriously gung-ho second half. Not unlike 2023's Alan Wake 2, Resident Evil Requiem initially focuses on a young FBI agent. In this case, series newcomer Grace Ashcroft, a fresh-faced analyst who's sent to investigate a series of mysterious deaths among the survivors of Raccoon City, several decades after the 1998 outbreak.
We found another body. One that exhibits the same pathology as the
I
other.
thought Grace was in Resident Evil 6. Was it 6 or 7? I think it's 7. Resident Evil 7. Is that not the same person? It's not fresh-faced, is
Grace's
it?
flashlight-lit forensic search through the grimy insides of a shuttered hotel is ultimately short-lived, however, since she's soon ensnared by Victor Gideon, Requiem's main antagonist whose menacing air, disgustingly disfigured face, and greasy goggles make him seem like some sort of steampunk Emperor Palpatine.
We have so much to do.
Victor traps Grace in the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center, a Spencer Mansion-style labyrinth of locked doors crawling with all manner of flesh-eating freaks. But thankfully help is on the way in the form of uber-stylish series veteran Leon S. Kennedy. Survival horror's preeminent himbo has clearly seen better days. The strange bruising on his skin suggests he's battling some sort of affliction potentially related to T-virus exposure, while the shiny new Porsche he's driving implies he's also not immune to a midlife crisis. But
yeah, Leon's getting old, man. Leon's getting up there, isn't he?
Standout here. Resident Evil characters have historically exhibited an overly campy quality that's injected a large dose of goofiness amidst the gore. But for my money, this inexperienced FBI agent is by far the most relatably human heroine the series has ever had.
Oh.
Her evolution from being perpetually on the brink of a panic attack to becoming self-assured enough to fight back made for a journey that I found as captivating as it was consistently creepy. Requiem allows us to alternate control between Grace and Leon at specific story junctions over the course of its roughly 10-hour campaign. But it's the former whose predominantly stealth-based sections are undoubtedly the most fear-inducing. Underpowered and under constant threat from twisted stalker ghouls that are liable to descend from the rafters at any moment,
I hate
Grace's
that.
efforts to
I
escape
fucking hate that, bro.
from the terrors of Victor's hospital is a wonderfully stressful slab of unrelenting survival horror. There's precious little ammo to find, a miserly number of inventory slots to manage, and Grace moves at such a slow speed that it makes timing your careful crouch walk to avoid a prowling pack of zombies an exercise in pinpoint path making. All the while you have to puzzle through a stimulating series of body part based riddles and elaborately locked doors, never really knowing when you're going to turn a corner and come face to flabby face with a grotesquely girthy
What
golem.
the fuck is that? Holy shit!
That's urgently squeezing its way down the hallway towards you. Nope. No thank you. I spent so much time trying to steer clear of the numerous considerable threats that on the occasions Grace was forced into a confrontations, the results really rattled me. When played in the default claustrophobic first-person perspective, her guns feel genuinely startling to fire and the impact of every precious pistol shot is immense. Bullets tear the festering flesh off zombie faces, leaving eyeballs to dangle from their stems.
Oh, that's sick.
And blood spatter paints the walls and persists even when you backtrack through the area later on.
That's
The gallons of blood
sick.
that covers the floor isn't just there for spectacle, mind you, since Grace is equipped with a handy blood collector that allows her to syringe up the infected plasma pooling around zombie corpses and combine it with other pieces of scrap to craft invaluable items like medkits and single-use hemolytic injectors. The latter can be jammed into the spine of an undead monster caught unaware, causing their entire body to swell up and explode in the most gloriously blood-soaked manner of stealth kill possible.
Oh!
But you can also use it to effectively dispose of a body you've downed previously. I found that to be a
handy.
smart move in areas I knew I'd be revisiting, since Requiem zombies also have a terrifying tendency to reanimate and mutate when you least expect them to. Grace's quest only
Oh,
grows
damn,
more intense as it
Puddin's
takes her
here.
through the suffocating shadows of the hospital's basement and beyond, but moving through Requiem's danger-filled surroundings at a snail's pace didn't just keep my nerves on edge, it allowed me to observe and appreciate the efforts that Capcom has put into enhancing the
That's
eerie behavior of its
crazy.
undead army. These are no longer the groaning, foot-dragging mouth breathers encountered during the original Raccoon City outbreak. Instead, they retain traces of humanity that somehow makes them seem far more unsettling than the more animalistic werewolves in Resident Evil Village. Like the ones that idly flick light switches on and off like bored toddlers, or the others that wander around muttering and laughing to themselves before suddenly collapsing to their knees to hungrily feast on the corpse of one of their former friends.
That's crazy.
Mr. Kennedy, we need to leave immediately.
What's going on?
I don't know what's happening. Some kind of mass hysteria.
While Grace's plight is a desperate and deliberate crawl that had me second-guessing every shadow, the ominous sounds of silence are shattered by the roar of ferocious ultraviolence when you switch control to Leon for what are initially brief tension-breaking bursts, as everyone's favourite former RC
Damn!
attempts a not-so-subtle rescue mission. These levels default to a third-person view to really show off the slaughter, and within minutes of his arrival I'd slipped comfortably back into Resident Evil 4 mode, nailing headshots and ending the undead with effortless execution moves.
Oh!
Ending the undead with
What?
effortless
Dude, that was clean!
execution moves. To my
Oh!
surprise, however, Requiem quickly pushes the insanity meter beyond Resident Evil 4 into dead rising levels of delirium by allowing Leon to actually wield a chainsaw to carve through the zombie crowds.
Oh, that's sick!
Leon's sections are up-tempo and gruesome to a degree that left me giddy, and almost every major zombie Leon dispatches is met with a delightfully deadpan dad joke.
I think I want a second opinion.
Where Grace must use the scarce amounts of scrap in her surroundings to make her own rapidly destructible knives, Leon is toting a powerful hatchet that can be easily maintained with an everlasting flint. While Grace has to carefully count each round in her small handful of handguns, Leon enjoys an extensive bevy of teeth-rattling boomsticks from beefy shotguns to head-splitting sniper rifles.
What? Let's
Plus, if Leon
go!
gets bored of his own weapons, he can use someone else's. After killing a zombie who drops a fire axe or lead pipe, he has the option to smoothly scoop it up and launch it at another enemy nearby, which is every bit as slick and satisfying as the similar sword-flinging feature of last year's Ghost of Yotei. Simply put, there's no off position on Leon's ass-kicking switch. And in
I
addition
think it
to
might
his
get a
surging
9.
slaughter of zombie hordes, it's also within Leon's levels that the bulk of Requiem's appropriately epic
It's
boss
the next one in
encounters take
line.
place. There are
I would
plenty
give
of
this a
colossal
9.
clashes to be found here. From
I
brand
like
new
the idea of the mix-up between the two characters, the horror and the action.
behemoths to
W
brilliantly
decision.
reimagine threats from previous Resident Evil stories. And there isn't a single Del Lago-sized dud among them. I particularly loved how this hulking nasty subverted my expectations of how a Resident Evil boss fight should play out.
Holy shit.
Sure, being tasked with blasting the glowing weak points that cover a marauding monster's torso is nothing new. That is, until you realise that while piercing each swollen blister does inflict damage to the beast, it also spews streams of infection onto the zombie underlings around him, instantly mutating them into brawnier forms of backup for you to contend with.
Oh shit.
Leon may
Oh
be armed
shit.
to the
No
teeth.
kidding. Okay.
That doesn't mean Requiem doesn't still find creative ways to ramp up the challenge. Playing as Leon is such a consistently violent delight that it's a little disappointing that the Mercenaries mode isn't a feature of Requiem after its welcome inclusion in 2021's Resident Evil Village.
Man, they'll probably come out with a DLC. Calm down. Yeah, the game's coming out today at like 10. Calm down, bruh.
Come on, Capcom. You're going to give me a version of Leon who can violently split skulls with a hatchet and do a
Damn.
Leatherface impersonation with a swinging chainsaw, and you're not going to allow me to unleash him in a score-chasing time attack mode? Here's hoping it will be patched in as a post-launch addition like the free update that Capcom eventually provided for the Resident Evil 4 remake. As much as I love Leon though, I do wonder if perhaps his sections become a bit too dominant once Requiem settles into a more action-oriented groove in its second half. As the story moves beyond
Good. The survival of it is great, but there is a thing that's being like forced into it a little too much.
grounds of Rhodes Hill and deep into what remains of Raccoon City. Let me be clear, Resident Evil 4 is my personal favourite installment in the series, so it certainly gave me a great deal of pleasure to once again wield a military-grade arsenal and pull off skull-shattering finishing moves as the series' hunkiest mutant murderer. But after playing almost exclusively as Leon through a roughly 5-hour stretch towards Requiem's conclusion, I did find myself yearning for a few more tastes of Grace's superbly nerve-shredding stealth sections as a more regular change-up from Leon's comparatively scare-free carnage. That desire was eventually gratified to some extent by a terrifyingly taut late-game tiptoe through a facility crawling with some truly menacing monsters returning from the series past. But given that the story ended soon afterwards, my overriding impression of Requiem that it was very much a game of two halves. The former predominantly a slow and steady scare-a-thon.
It kind of sounds like the first act is a little bit of a mix between survival action. The second act is like Leon going through Raccoon City.
And the latter largely a run-and-gun splatterfest.
Damn!
I much enjoyed both flavors in their own right. I just wish for the sake of its pacing that they'd been blended together a touch more over the full course of the journey. Instead, Requiem is a bit like ordering a whiskey and coke and having it served in two separate glasses instead of being mixed into one. To be fair, Grace's absence from a significant stretch of Requiem is justified within the context of its story, and overall it's a tale that gripped me harder than a zombie nurse gnawing on my nose. There are a number of blindsiding twists that cast new light on the origins of the Umbrella Corporation and the ambitions of its founder, along with an excellent mix of zombie-riddled locations both fresh and familiar to puzzle and pummel your way through, and plenty of vital notes to collect along the way. Some of these memos are crucial to understanding the intriguing mystery behind Grace's abduction and the truth about her past, while others are just genuinely funny gags to help ease the tension. After encountering a specific zombie type in one medical wing that was obnoxiously singing at the top of her lungs, I got a good laugh out of uncovering a doctor's report that had diagnosed her with main character syndrome. There's also one particularly iconic location that Leon explores that I'm reluctant to spoil here. But it's jam-packed with fun Easter eggs that made it a real thrill to revisit, as someone who's been enjoying Resident Evil adventures ever since the T-Virus made its first outbreak on a black-bottom CD for the original PlayStation.
Stop it! Don't open that door!
But Chris is...
Stop it! Don't open that door!
Who's that?
Like the result of an experiment conducted in an underground Umbrella Corporation lab, Resident Evil Requiem successfully splices two separate strains of survival horror together into the one highly infectious new mutation. It signals the return of a series legend and the arrival of a likable new lead, amps up the gore to a new stomach-turning standard, and unleashes a scarier breed of zombie alongside some truly beastly boss fights. The lack of any meaningful side content like the Mercenaries mode is a touch disappointing, and I do wonder if a slightly more consistent balance could have been struck with the ebb and flow from jaw-clenching moments of tension to all-out assault, rather than front-loading the story with frights before giving way to a more bullet-riddled back half.
So what do we get? What do we get?
So, from my first trembling steps into its shadows all the way to the tremendous Titan-sized takedown at its climax, Resident Evil Requiem kept me completely absorbed and consistently entertained.
Oh, 9!
Or all guns blazing.
Ooh! A 9 for 9, huh?
For IGN reviews, check out our God of War, Sons of Sparta and Reanimal.
Nice.
And for everything else, stick with IGN.
You see this? Yo, do they have like a different thing for their reviews? Where are these reviews at? 5 days ago, how did we miss this?
I've played all of the God of War video games, including that one with the Rejector Child QuickTime event and that crappy mobile game from back in the Bush administration. I played at least one game I only half remember of the God of War card game. I was a Kratos main in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. I like the guy is what I'm saying.
I bring the destruction of Olympus!
Bro, it's gonna be so fucking sick to see that shit remade. It's not even funny! Oh!
As a sort of cathartic avatar of the id taken to its very tragic limits in Greece, and as a clunky conversation starter about guilt and finding power in something other than grievances in Midgard. But I can't recall ever wondering, I want to know more about the pre-Ares Kratos teenage years. And as an answer to a question I would probably never ask, Sons of Sparta is a pleasant character rehabilitation of a largely unlikable guy couched in a largely boring adventure about Kratos.
Go suck a dick. If you don't like the original Kratos, go die in a hole somewhere. No one likes you. Fuck off. The OG Kratos is where it's at. That fucking woke-it shit that they got now, kiss my ass. You'll never be able to take away the main character, their OG God of War, dude. Fuck
Learning
you.
The value of responsibility.
Spartans!
Always united!
Sitting there trying to say nobody likes. Man, kiss my fucking ass.
Also a pretty mediocre.
There's a reason why they did better.
Clearly taking the form and function of these games, but failing to meet the high bar set by the titans of the genre, let alone bringing anything novel to this specific experience. You'll move through colorful locations, doing the kind of running, jumping.
You know what really makes me upset? No matter how much you try to shun the Kratos masculinity out of your corporation, Sony, remember, how many more games of the original God of War are there compared to the 2 fucking woke fests that came out recently? They made your franchise, and now you want to shun it? Fuck you.
Button pressing, object pushing, and monster slaying that will be second nature to your inner Belmont, but you'll do so at a pace so slow that it makes the journey feel like aimless wandering, fighting through hordes of baddies with...
Which one out of the entire franchise has been ported to PC? You know why? Because it didn't make as many fucking sales as the OG.
Combat that tries too hard to be special, but ends up crowded and cloying. I found this young Kratos to be a well-meaning, earnest guy, piously, maybe naively so, devoted to the gods and the stubborn defender of his younger brother Deimos. These are better times for the pair, who have just been granted permission to leave Sparta in order to adventure through and protect the surrounding lands at their own leisure. The well-written banter between them and the other young people living in the Spartan Agoge reveals the Kratos that could have been, a charismatic, duty-bound leader that is tough when
Oh, what a fucking joke.
Necessary, but also introspective, open to learn, and most jarring of all, funny.
She means you're clumsy, but you keep trying.
Man, that's bullshit. Cause like I remember playing, I think it was Chains of Olympus or Ghost of Sparta. It was one of the 2 PSP versions. And he was like beating up on his brother whenever they were trying to spar with the shields and the spears. And like, I don't understand where Sony gets off doing this shit. I really don't.
Even the brief moments of pre-Ares Pledge adult Kratos in Sons of Sparta, who is telling his daughter the happenings of the game as a fable while she's grounded, reveal a man who actually has capacity to love his wife and child in the present, and not just be consumed by rage because of their
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
passing. They banter back and forth in the background as notable in-game events go down, and the way Calliope will cast doubt on the seemingly tall tales of her father, or follow up moments that either seem contradictory or wrong, was charming in the way the prince attempting to recount his journey in the Sands of Time was.
Do you think I felt regret as I gazed upon the destruction we had wrought?
Ultimately, these don't really save the story from feeling dull and rote. Sons of Sparta is full of interesting characters that you meet after long stretches of not very interesting travel and exploration. The many locations that Kratos and his brother romp through, like the fiery foundry of Daedalus, or the dense and spooky Veiled Bog, look good, but there's nothing all that special or memorable about them. A lot of them seem to be begging to tell the story of what got them to the state that they're in, like a haunted winery that is covered in goop and being possessed by a Grecian Ivan Ooze.
Man, I'm so happy I didn't buy this fucking game. I thought about it. I was like, should I buy it for the story? Ain't no story here. Ain't no story
Or a
here.
farming village where all of the residents have been replaced by cultists. But Sons is content with just marching you through a place in service of one long goal, to find a missing student of the Agoj without stopping to elaborate on any of these side stories.
For Sparta!
The around 20 hours of my journey was a lot of me wishing I could
20
know
hours?
more about a cool place I was in, knowing the best I was going to get was a blurb in the lore compendium, checking off every single Metroidvania trope without really any hope of seeing much innovation on the concept. The only new idea Sons has about the genre is when the player can expect to gain the signature abilities these games are known for. There's no explicit right or wrong time to gain mechanics, of course, but I went about 10 hours before gaining the ability to drink a healing potion and got a double jump a few hours later. Things you might—
10 hours to get a fucking healing potion? Holy shit, man. Who made this fucking game?
expect to do at the very beginning of similar titles. But you spend so much of the early parts of Sons of Sparta running such rudimentary obstacle courses that every time I gained something like the ability to sprint, I felt like I had to wrestle through a fugue state to give it a fair shake. Combat, for better and worse, was the most reliably compelling thing going on for a lot of the game. Kratos has a lot of offensive options, but none that really resemble the God of War's barbarism. Armed with a spear and shield, you'll mash a single attack string, poking and bashing enemies into submission. Normal attacks will cause spirit orbs to float out of your targets, which will fill your gauge that can be used to turn your blows into spirit attacks, doing less damage.
Man, no way in hell. It's a 2D game? I'm thinking like maybe a 5. There's no way, dude. No way.
Health orbs and significantly more stun meter, which you want to build especially on stronger enemies, as a stunned opponent is—
Maybe this is Sony's way of trying to test that old theory of if you make it, they will come. Maybe they're finally understanding that just because you make it, they won't come.
Executed. I immediately missed the attack paths of the other series that let you mix light and heavy.
Bro, it's 2 fucking games! It's 2 games! It's 2! Out of like 7! It's 2! Stop! These 2 games, 2 of them do not define the entire 7 other games that came out. Stop with this. Please. Actually, it's like 5. There's like God of War 1, 2, 3, Ascension, the 2 PSP. No, it's 6. It's 6. There's technically, 8, 9 games now? But there are 6 full fucking games that have the same fucking combat, and you're going with the only 2 that any of you useless fucks have ever played, and it's so irritating.
Attacks or control tempo with delay strings. Instead, you can equip different spear shafts.
You know what's funny? This game reminds me of the original games. The layout of this game with the orbs that explode and give you health and experience and rage orbs. I knew every one of the orbs that were popping out of these enemies. This motherfucker has no idea what they are. That's the crazy part.
combo enders, providing one...
That's rage. The gold orbs are rage orbs. They fill the rage meter, which is this. The blue meter is your magic, and the red meter is your health. Didn't have any of that shit in God of War, whatever the fuck that new shit is. But it was an OG. It's an OG technique. That's what it is. It's old. It's old.
From one another outside of this. One adds a Brad Pitt-style leaping spear thrust that gives your combo a little...
That's green. You see the green orbs? That's health.
I didn't find fussing over the right last hit to be worth much. Instead,
how the fuck these people play? I can't.
The real effective ways to spice up your damage dealing comes from attaching different spear tips that add passive effects. They unlock active abilities as you upgrade them. Not all spear tips are made equal, and there are clear standouts, like one that extends your reach. The reach extending one's active ability made every attack hit twice for a brief period of time. These have a more dramatic effect on your playstyle than the shafts, but I rarely strayed away from this tip as it seemed to clearly be the most versatile. I didn't find many...
I guarantee you there's a parry technique in this game that he's not using. If they brought back the orbs in this game, I promise you there's a parry technique this guy's not doing.
Opportunities to get the most out of some funkier ones, like the poison tip or ice tip, which
the parry in the old school God of Wars is your best friend.
Over time and slow enemies respectively.
I got so good at parrying in God of War 3 when you fight Zeus, I could not be fucking hit.
As their effects never really gave me a clear enough advantage against tougher enemies that seemed just as dangerous under these conditions.
Ah, he does have a parry. He just fucking did it.
It's tougher enemies that seem just as dangerous under these conditions. Pommels can be added to the bottom of the spear to give Kratos another active ability, these being more like special attacks that spend your spirit meter to do. The differences between these were more dramatic. One allows the Spartan to deliver a flurry of thrusts in quick succession, while another sends him marching, spear swinging in wide arcs around his body. I changed these up the most to adapt to challenges because...
Bro, I'm gonna have to play this game to make sure this guy's not full of shit. And like, I didn't want to, but now I'm gonna have to see if it's actually worth the shit.
...to handling specific sorts of threats.
He just parried again. So there's a parry system in place.
Specific sorts of threats.
How you bitching about health potions whenever you're getting health, dude? You're getting shitloads of health orbs. What are you on about?
The most dramatic offensive tools are those that come from the gifts of the god that Kratos and Deimos invite themselves to possess. These operate like spells that, mostly, give Kratos options that he can't get from his spear and shield. Namely, good ranged options like Apollo's Sling that lets you launch pellets of solid light at foes, or Hestia's Shrub, whose leaves toss bouncing flames. They also double as keys to specific sorts of locks that litter the vast world of Laconia. Apollo's Light can power specific generators, and Hestia's Fire can burn away prickly bushes. But in combat, there are specific generators, and Hestia's Fire can burn away prickly bushes. But in combat, there are often your...
You mean Hephaestus? Or Hestius?
Strongest and most restricted tool, limited by a magic gauge that can't be refilled through your attacks like health and spirit can. There's quite a lot of ways to attack the enemies of Sparta, many little ways to modify these, and even more ways to grow and change these modifications through the upgrade crafting system. But so few of these options have remarkable gameplay consequences that incentivized me to explore past my early game habits. I didn't even consider upgrading any of my spear tips past the level required to get their special abilities, and that was only just so I can see them in action. That isn't to say combat is easy per se, but most of your most effective battle plan is to mash attack when able after getting a safe moment or two to do so. Enemies can be diligent and lethal, attacking often and in groups, requiring you to get pretty familiar with Kratos' powerful defensive tools in order to survive. The parry is great for breaking up combos and putting stun damage on a foe, but it isn't so strong that you can auto-win the skirmish after a successful swat, like some other games that might reward a good parry with a free execution. You still have to stay locked in, because the enemy will recover quickly to get back to the beating.
Protect yourself!
Dodges and the handful of follow-up attacks that you can nail after are necessities as well, and mixed together can make getting out of tougher binds feel rewarding. All of these actions can be modified or enhanced through equipment as well. Shield rims can make counterattacks stronger, or simply raise your armor and make you tougher to take down, for instance.
So survivability.
Bad guys
The
can
term that you're trying to say is survivability.
a little too cute with the kinds of offense that they can dish out though. Most action games feature enemies who flash red to denote an unblockable attack, but Sons of Sparta can feature enemies with a whopping 4 different kinds of special attack conditions, modifying whether an attack can be blocked but not evaded, ones that guard break but can be parried, or ones that you can defend in no way, shape, or form outside of simply not being around when it happens. This maximalist approach to defensive, Simon says, creates too many variables in combat with lots of
That's how the original God of War was. What are you on about? I'm sorry that it's not being spoon-fed to you like a fucking toddler. There are attacks in God of War that you can't block. In the original ones. Red, you can't block red, man. That's how it's always been.
And losing in scenarios where multiple enemies
Fuck you talking about?
kinds of attacks at once.
How am I defending this fucking game? I don't get it. How are you so bad that... dude.
Feels like whatever the Greek word is for bullshit. Boss fights can turn the screen-filling attack machine up to 10, which is definitely a change of pace. They don't start getting tricky until about the last third of the adventure, but those baddies make you earn through extended chains of pattern recognition and reflex-checking bullet storms. The easier ones earlier in the game can be more disappointing on the difficulty side, but what all bosses share is that they further remove the opportunity to take advantage of many of your offensive tools, since they seem to be largely immune to status effects and don't have stun bars.
Yeah. Just like the original God of War. You can't stun when have you ever been able to stun a boss in God of War? You have to get their health bar to a certain degree, and then you do the quick time event.
Of Sparta does a lot of good PR for Kratos' early Greek life, filling in the blanks of he and his brother's early life in a sort of young adult coming-of-age story set in a military high school. The fresh breeze it gives to the would-be God of War is more of a humid fog when it comes to the actual 20-hour game you have to play in between all the fun character work. Combat makes the most attempts to differentiate Sons from other contemporary Metroidvanias, but is also mostly bloated with options you never have to even investigate, let alone consider. The rest, the exploration, the collectible hunting, platforming, are at best run-of-the-mill, with very few locations and moments within them standing out in this game, let alone among the upper echelon of the best games.
Damn, I was one off. They gave it a 6. I said 5.
For more God of War Sons of Sparta, make sure to check out the first.
Damn, bruh. That's crazy. Okay, let's move on. Do we want to do this? Well, I guess we'll move on. All right, we got to cover the news. Got to get in the trenches. We'll save this for tomorrow.
Economic Council Director.
Holy
Kevin
shit.
Hassett. Kevin, I see you're not wearing a frog suit or jumping around on stage right now. What's your reaction when you see that? I heard you chuckle a bit. What do you make of all that effort?
Yeah, I think that it goes back to some of the stuff that you ran before the break, too, where we had liberal commentators saying that the numbers were lies, the numbers were all wrong. But as you know, that whenever we have a State of the Union, first of all, nerds like me pore over every number, for weeks to make sure that everything's right. But then we post the facts on whitehouse.gov, so anybody who has a problem with any of the numbers that the president said, they can go look up what the source is. And so I think that what's going on is that people are dancing around with frogs and dancing around the facts because they don't like the facts. And the facts are that President Trump is creating a golden age. A way to think about it is that in the first 3 quarters where he's been president, the average GDP growth has been 3.2%. President Trump promised 3% growth in 2017. Everybody said he's crazy. He's already delivering that. And there are a lot of policies that are just kicking in right now. And so I think we're very, very optimistic that the golden age is here. And I think that people are already seeing it in their wallets. So President Trump mentioned last night.
I ain't seen jack shit.
That the average American family saw their income go up by $1,400 last year after adjusting for inflation.
So let me put up some of these approval numbers. Just looking at the polls, President Trump's handling of the economy. And we've got 3 different sets here. So you can look at any one of them. There's a Fox News poll, a Washington poll, a Wall Street Journal poll. All of them have the president's disapproval number on the economy in the mid to upper 50s, Kevin. What do you say to that?
Well, again, what's going to happen is that as people see their incomes go up, which already happened last year, and skyrocket, which is what...
I don't know who the fuck he's talking. Dude, ain't nobody's income gone up. What you talking about? Saying that with a big-ass shit-eating grin. What do you mean, man?
going to happen this year and next. Remember, we got between, I guess it was $6,500 in the first 3 years before COVID, and those numbers were just fantastic. I think the other thing to remember is that a lot of consumer sentiment numbers are starting to look very positive, like the Michigan survey. And whenever you're surveying like right track, wrong track like surveys, remember that half the people are Democrats, so no matter what we do, they're going to want to dance
I
with
don't
fraud.
currently have a 9-to-5, but I promise you I've had more 9-to-5s than you. Have you ever worked a 48-hour shift, motherfucker?
And ignore the numbers.
All right. With regard to this new program that is a savings program, which I know is something that you've worked on in the background for quite a while, Kevin.
Yeah.
So who would be getting these accounts? And tell me if, I'm sure you've run the numbers on this. It looks like if you give people $1,000 a year to invest in a savings account and then they add to it over time as well, if you looked at like the next 10-year period, that could cost the federal government about $500 billion. So where is that money going to come from for this program?
Well, there's already in law a program that's called the Savers Match, which can fund.
They're talking about the Trump accounts that Trump has set up for kids. Like if you have a child, you can open up this account and they put $1,000 in it. And as the child gets older and they finally, move out of your house, they could use that for college and stuff like that. That's what that's what they're talking about right now.
These programs for low-income people. And as President Trump mentioned, the typical 401k family that was lucky enough to have one made $40,000 last year, but half of Americans were left out. And so the Savers Match program applies to low-income families, and that's really step one, and that's the thing that we're going to start right away because it's already in law, doesn't require legislation. But afterwards, I'm sure that we'll have make a strong effort to work with our friends in Congress to make sure that we get all the way up to the sort of median person. And right now, the cost isn't as high as what you're saying because
that's crazy.
The program is smaller than, it doesn't go all the way up to median, it goes up to a smaller income level.
All right. Well, and part of that trick is to get people to take advantage of it, which we know a lot of people are offered 401ks at work and they don't actually take advantage of them. And it is a great way to save. I want to ask you about this. President Trump put J.D. Vance, the vice president, in charge of the war on fraud. And he spoke about this.
Yo, what a great decision. Man, he went down to Minneapolis and cleaned that shit up quick, J.D. Vance, man. He went down there, he talked with all the police, got them to start doing their damn job, and went out, gave one of the best press conferences I've ever seen any politician really give. We about to watch another one later on, too.
Last night in the speech, during a moment that was very heated, Ilhan Omar was yelling at the president. He was telling her that she should be ashamed of herself when he talked about the fraud that has been found $9 billion in Minnesota. And then he said this about the war on fraud. Watch.
They have declared a war on fraud. W administration.
Officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D.
Look at that couch fucker back there. He's big smile, man.
We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have...
I love how he emphasizes it, too. I love that.
We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced...
You think they flinch every time he says it? You think it's like their kryptonite?
It'll go very quickly.
So we're at over 1.7 trillion in the budget deficit right now. So he's going to be a very busy vice president finding enough fraud to make up for that. Here's what he said about this program and his project this morning. Quick thought.
I think that's unfortunate that nobody has ever tried to take a systematic look at how much fraud there is.
We have J.D. Vance's entire thing pulled up on a later thing. Actually, you know what? Let's pull it front and center. Let's just be done with it. Here he is. Here it is, right here. This is Vance. This is J.D. Vance's press conference he did at the State of the Union, I believe. I could be wrong.
fraud and abuse? Is he really? Let me see. I don't know if this is worth looking at.
I can see Vance winning the presidency. I can. He knows what to say. He's a good speaker.
What is this?
Claim to be autistic in order that they benefit from the money that's out there. Now, what does that mean? Number one, it means that a lot of people are getting rich off the generosity of American taxpayers, but more fundamentally and more importantly than that, it means that there are kids in Minnesota who deserve these services, who need these services, and they're not going to those kids. They're going to fraudsters in Minneapolis. That is unacceptable, and that's the sort of thing that we're cutting off with this action today. Let me make one final point about the spirit of this. You know, one of the things I love about our country is that we're a generous country. We're a generous people. We take care of our fellow citizens who can't afford medical care because they're down on their luck. We take care of people who can't afford to put food on the table even though they work hard and play by the rules.
Exactly. That's what I don't understand. How is it that there are so many Americans that are working hard, play by the rules, don't break the law, and for some odd reason they're still living paycheck to paycheck, yet these people that break the law, they get out and they get everything paid for, or they come in from a foreign country and they just get bussed in and they don't have to work and they get bussed in, given a place to stay, given welfare, given food stamps, given like immediate Section 8 living. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's garbage.
Recognize that we're all in this together, and part of the reason why we have Medicaid, or part of the reason why we have food stamps, part of the reason why we have these programs is we want to make sure that kids who grew up in families not all that different from the family that I grew up in, that they have access to the basic necessities. Food, medical care, after-school services when their family needs them, but they're unable to pay.
You can't do it with unfettered immigration.
In Minneapolis, in California.
That's the thing, is like, you can't pick to have both. If you want unfiltered immigration, then you're going to have to lose the welfare systems, because you have all these immigrants that are being mass imported that aren't like tax-paying citizens. Like, if you don't pay into the system's going to run dry. It's like a well. You know, if you're not pissing and shitting and then recycling your piss and shit, then you're going to run dry real quick. That's just how it is. Like, every water filtration system that we have in America proves that fact. Well, it's just, you can't do that. You could choose to have unfiltered immigration, but then you'd have to kill every welfare program. Like, you can't have both. We can't afford both. It's not something we're capable of doing.
Across our country is that the generosity and the good hearts of our fellow Americans are being taken advantage of. We're taking that social
there it is.
Contract that says that our American citizens, we take care of one another, and we're allowing a few.
Oh man, JD Vance, bro, you spitting right now, bro, is spitting. It is about damn time.
Few bad actors to get rich off that generosity of spirit instead of providing the services to the kids who need it. This is disgraceful. It has happened.
Oh my God, dude. Dude.
For too long, far too many people have gotten rich by taking what is the best of the American spirit and getting rich off of it instead of providing services to kids who need it. That is stopping today. We're taking a whole of government approach in the Trump administration to take this fraud seriously. What Mehmet Oz and his team at CMS have done is really remarkable, and it's just the first step of our efforts. So
I swear to God, if I hear a Band-Aid patch over this fucking problem, Vance, you couch fucking bitch, we're gonna have a problem, sir.
Without further ado, let me turn it over to Mehmet to say a few words about what he's doing, what his team has uncovered, and what they're accomplishing.
I hope they do. They need to shut it down. If you turn off the tap, you see, you're gonna start seeing a bunch of people. They're gonna start begging for water, and that's what you got to do with these people. You gotta see where they start complaining, and then you send over investigations.
Action.
Thank fucking God.
And if it's legit, you turn the tap back on. If not, whoop, out of the country.
Mr. Vice President, I appreciate the leadership on this. There's no question that his commitment The Vice President's commitment to rooting out this fraud is going to make a massive difference in preserving and protecting our nation's public health programs. It's going to protect patients. I want to thank President Trump for pushing all of us to make sure we protect our most vulnerable Americans, the ones that JD mentioned, the ones he grew up with, the ones all of us know in our lives. It also protects taxpayers from attacks on our healthcare system. Secretary Kennedy has spearheaded these efforts, and thanks to his leadership, I'm proud to announce the largest fraud initiative, anti-fraud effort of its kind in CMS history. Now, why is this action necessary? Last night in the State of the Union address, the President spoke about the affordability issues that we have.
I am on whatever side helps fucking Americans. I don't care about foreign fucking countries. Why do we have veterans that are homeless? Why do we have homeless kids? Why do we have fucking immigrants living in tents with their family? We have a problem here, Hoss. Whatever side gives me that, I'm on that side. Whatever side helps these people not be homeless, I'm down for it.
Improved dramatically in this administration. Let's put some numbers on healthcare. The average family puts about $27,000 into healthcare a year. They only pay $7,000 themselves, which is a lot, but there's an extra $20,000 invested for them.
He's cooking.
This is not a reasonable amount of money to spend. We have got to bend that curve downwards. It's unpredictable as well.
And I want to make something very clear. If J.D. Vance turns off the tap, cuts all this federal funding, people are probably going to die. They are. And I can already see the news. Oh, because they stopped funding, so-and-so died. And it's like, no, they had to cut the funding off because it inevitably is going to be off if we don't fix this. The funding will stop, and there will be no bringing it back if we don't do something about it now. We have to act now. Not 30 years when it's all gone. Now. We have to do something now before it's all gone. We are the United States government is hemorrhaging welfare at an unprecedented scale. They have to stop it, or even by the year 2035, as soon as 2035, we won't have shit. We won't even have Social Security. You have to fix this now.
To make these expenses, and the fraud that we're experiencing in America is making this already dangerous problem much worse. So we're going to fix these issues. The president last night spoke about the need for price transparency. That's going to help by making people more aware of what they're paying. It's also going to help us at CMS figure out what you should be paying and identifying fraud. To that note, the president announced last night that he's appointing our vice president to lead the war on healthcare fraud, a wise choice. Your passion for this will make a huge difference. This is not about the money
Billions of
by
dollars.
itself. This is about people's lives and our culture, our shared values that have allowed these beautiful programs, Medicare and Medicaid, to survive brilliantly for 60 years.
You remember what I was saying, what I've been saying the past week? You don't do what people want, you do what they fucking need. And we need to fix this. This needs to be fixed. We have to do this. It may not be what people want. It damn well isn't what the fraudsters want, but it needs to happen.
You can't have that with third world savages coming in.
$300 billion a year in healthcare in this country for fraudulent, abusive, or wasteful purposes.
It's $250 billion.
Let's put that in perspective. If
That's
we
a
could
lot of
reduce
fucking
fraud
money.
by 5%, which is at $300 billion, we would take the trust fund that's going to take care of all of us as we get older, and we would allow it not to expire in 5 to 6 years. We would double its life expectancy.
You heard what he just said? It is going to be gone in 5 to 6 years. Social Security will be fucking gone. It will be gone. We will not have it. Nobody in the U.S. will have it. It will be completely gone if we don't fix this. That's crazy because that's even sooner than what I've heard.
That's massively important if you're going to trust a social safety net to be there for you. You deserve that social safety net. It's there. It's created. We're not going to let fraudsters steal it from you.
He's going crazy.
And it's not the government's just not doing their funds right. If they take the taxes from you and then they give it to the system, right? Because you pay into Social Security, so you're entitled to that money. Well, it's hard to make sure that the money comes back to you when you've got all these people that moved into your country taking the fucking money without paying back into the system. That's what happens when you don't pay back into the system. Let's say that you're an illegal. You're working under the table at a job and you've stolen someone's identity who's like 200 years old, and you're using that to take welfare. Now, times that by 20, times that by 30, times that by 40. You got a big problem.
Kim Brandt, who's videoing me over there, Dan Brillman, Capri Snap, Steph Carlton have worked tirelessly to put this together. They've been rooting out criminals all year long. I know as well what it's like. I visited all these areas, personally witnessed what it's like to see something you know is wrong and wonder why no one tried to fix it. It's infuriating. The Vice President described it very accurately exactly what you see on the ground. These self-serving scoundrels, that's what they are, who rob our federal and state health programs, have decided it is worth the risk. I'm going to make a proposition to you. If you commit crime on Medicare or Medicaid in America and you steal, let's say, a couple $1 million, your jail sentence, first-time offender, maybe a year. For a lot of folks, that's a good deal. We have to take these crimes seriously and treat them as seriously as if they were bank robberies, because they're more dangerous than bank robberies. People get hurt during them.
Hey, you know why? Because when the money runs out in 5 to 6 years, like he said, then there's going to be no health care either. So if there's no health care and you're like a VA, you're a vet, you got to go to the VA, you're not going to have any fucking money. It's going to be gone. You're not going to have any kind of retirement whatsoever. That's it. You're cooked.
Let me share some of these horrible stories. The Vice President started highlighting autism. Let's get into the details of what's really going on in Minnesota. These are real cases from our group at CMS. These are
for 20
There's a fraud scheme in Minnesota where
they go to jail for a year. Yeah, for $1 million.
Criminals pay moms $1,000 roughly in order to enroll their children as being autistic. Falsely, dishonestly claiming their children are autistic.
This is exactly
they
what I
then
was
bill
telling you
Medicaid. This has already happened. Millions of dollars for services that were never rendered, never delivered by a qualified staff member. These schemes disproportionately involve immigrant communities. They're insulated. They're able to organize efforts, and sometimes they don't understand what's going on. And it ultimately diverts resources away from kids who truly have autism. Because if every kid in the neighborhood has autism, then nobody has autism in terms of how you can manage them. There was one behavioral, and by the way, these kids, they carry that diagnosis of autism the rest of their lives. Their mom made a bad decision, the kid pays the price for the rest of their life. There's one behavioral health organization, Mr. Vice President, in Minnesota. They received $11.5 million in Medicaid payments, but the top biller submitted 450 days where they claimed they were working more than 24 hours a day. I mean, even in the White House, that's tough.
What?
It's hard to work more than 24 hours a day.
What the fuck they doing? The baby's on like brigade control? Like, dude, like what? Is that a fire baby? A firefighter baby? Like, come on. What?
Wow. How it didn't get picked up is shocking to us at CMS. There are other red flags in Minnesota, including hundreds of receiving treatment linked to one location, which was impossible physically to be true. We had 8 beneficiaries in one of these substance use disorder centers, 8 who were already dead, but the center was still billing us.
Remember, though, I'm dreaming.
Not only did they let the person pass, they kept billing for it. That's the level of average we're talking about. So CMS is done paying and chasing.
So they let them die, and then they just still collected money?
These criminals flee the country. Many are foreign nationals. Instead, we're launching the largest action against fraud that we've ever taken.
Get
the
our
money's
fucking
not
money
going to ever
back.
leave the building
Damn
again.
straight.
We're going to start draining the swamp of the crooks that have inhabited it and are defrauding us. There are 3 bold actions. The first, and for many of you maybe the most important, is we're going to, for the first time, take a massive action to defer funds to a state. Let's start with this Medicaid program.
Damn, let's go.
Takes care of our children. 53% of kids are born into poverty. They're supported through Medicaid. Disadvantaged seniors, individual disabilities. It's unponderable that you would take advantage of these precious programs. Yet
they're animals.
They're
That's
putting
why they do it
at risk, all of it, by
But
stealing the
remember,
money.
boys, you're being morally injusticed, right? You're the Nazis for acting and thinking the way you do. Always remember that. You're the horrible person, right? That's just a title you gain for either being a patriot or being somebody that cares about kids in your own country.
So it's our duty to
But
preserve.
remember, whenever they're supposedly separating these families to deport them, that's what you got to keep in your mind every day. Man, I sleep real good at night.
Medicaid, and what we're going to do is identify the scammers, which we have done in Minnesota. We've identified that they've hijacked, in particular, a certain part of the Minnesota Medicaid system. Said differently, and I'll just put the numbers out there, it's going to be $259 million of deferred payments for Medicaid to Minnesota, which we're announcing as I speak to Governor Walz and his team.
Holy
That's
shit.
based on an audit of the last 3 months of 2025. Restated, $250 million is not going to be paid this month to Minnesota for its Medicaid claims. Now that's $250 million of money. That's your money.
Yeah.
Your taxpayer money. And these home and community-based services, which again are services that are typically things you would do for your family, but for whatever reason your family's not there to provide them, are very hard to audit. And for that reason, there's been a lot of slippage. The guardrails have not been well maintained.
Y'all need to
not serious
get
about the
Discovery
integrity of the
on the
program,
phones.
you'll see these problems happening in your state, which is why Minnesota's not alone, although they're the first to receive this action. These high-growth areas of fraud are difficult to police, so we require the states to take these issues seriously.
You know it's going to be a while in Minnesota. Man, oh man, is it going to be a long while.
$1 billion.
And this all happened, this all got sparked by one independent journalist, W. Nick Shirley. I saw it in Asman's chat, and I was like, you know what? He's right.
So we require the states to take these issues seriously.
There it is. W. Nick Shirley.
This $250 million deferment is hopefully going to get on the radar screen for the state of Minnesota and make sure they are responsive to our requests.
It's a good speaker.
We did what
This
any
is
honest
great.
and patient-focused agency would do. We have notified
Holy
the
fuck.
state and that we will give them the money, but we're going to hold it and only release it after they propose and act on a comprehensive corrective action plan to solve the problem.
Maybe this is their way of draining the swamp. I mean, what better way to drain the swamp than to take all their money away so they can't profit off of it and they find something else to do, right? I mean, you can't tell me that a lot of these people that are only supposed to be making a couple $100,000 a year now have like an estimated like wealth of like millions of dollars are doing that legally, right? Even insider trading is illegal.
Damn, putting on a performance improvement plan.
The state will rack up $1 billion of deferred payments this year. Governor Walz has 60 days, sir, to respond to our letter. And if providers and beneficiaries are worried about getting their money in services, please call your governor. These are services the governor has already paid for. We are just not reimbursing the state.
I can't believe this
to make
all
it clear,
basically
there is a
started
rainy
because
day
of a
fund in
retarded
Minnesota.
virgin.
So we are very confident that people will not be hurt in Minnesota.
So this is not a Band-Aid fix. They're cutting off the funding to Minnesota and giving them 90 days to have receipts on because this money's already been paid several times over. They want receipts and like actual confirmation that these programs are being implemented and the money's not being wasted with to fraud. So that's what's going on here, is that the money's already been paid and the service has already been paid for. They want to see the results and the receipts. That's what they're doing.
It's not a problem with the people of Minnesota. It's a problem with the leadership.
So if the money didn't go where it was supposed to, they're going to find it out really quick.
And other states who do not take Medicaid preservation seriously. Any delay in services is going to be, should be laid at the seat of Governor Walz. I believe he will take this seriously. They're not the only state that's floundering.
You got to cut off the funding.
We have more
You got to do it.
Other states coming soon.
Oh, here we
Second
go.
big issue has to do with Medicare. So that was Medicaid in Minnesota. It takes care of our most vulnerable populations. Medicare takes care of our seniors.
Yeah.
Durable medical equipment. Most of you have not thought much about this category. These are the folks who they serve wheelchairs, canes. They sell knee braces, catheters, Foley
oxygen
catheters.
machines. Yeah.
Durable medical equipment suppliers, because they ship prostheses and these items, they're a great target for fraudsters. Here's what they do. They can steal the beneficiary number, and they never ship the product. They pretend to ship the product, but nothing ever gets sent out. So there's no cost of goods sold, there's no inventory, there's no payroll. No one works in the place. It's empty. But they generate millions of dollars of fake bills.
That's
There was a
crazy.
national DME fraud scheme that generated
That makes me fucking sick to my stomach, man. That really does.
$1 billion recently in fraud.
Yeah, because you have to keep in mind, not only are they ripping off the person that bought the thing, like if you buy a cane from one of these places, not only are you not getting the money, but they're making money by accepting the services, the Medicaid, Medicare, that kind of shit. They are accepting government funds just by having that service available So they're effectively getting paid to do fucking nothing. Straight up, nothing. They're making millions and billions of dollars to just do nothing. They probably don't even have the products.
Brace orders,
I didn't even know about this one.
Whose numbers were stolen and used, they couldn't get those products. Imagine if you're at an insulin pump and someone steals your number and orders an insulin pump fictitiously, bills Medicare, and then you come and try to get this to deal with your diabetes.
That's the shit that nobody sees.
That actually happens. And what happens to those patients? They don't know if their blood sugar's so high or so low that they might die. That's the risks that we're allowing by not taking this seriously. So today
we do more harm by not enforcing this than we do of enforcing it. There will be more people that die because they don't have the ability to withdraw from the government and take on Medicaid or Medicare than if we act now and in 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 more years we'll have Medicaid and Medicare. Government's running dry, bruh.
Number 2 is we're announcing a 6-month national moratorium.
What's that?
Blocking all new enrollments for durable medical equipment, prostheses, orthotics, supplies across the board. These crimes are becoming a major source of fraudulent activity.
Holy.
And I'll just mention, Mr. Vice President, South Florida. Do you ever go to McDonald's?
Yeah. Too much.
We had rehearsed this.
Too much.
So there are twice as many durable medical equipment suppliers in South Florida than McDonald's.
Wow.
And that's not because
That's crazy, bro. What the fuck?
Secretary Kennedy is closing down McDonald's. That's because the amount of fraud is so massive that it's easier to open one of these suppliers than open a bank account, which is why we're working with Secretary Bessent. And part of the reason for this moratorium is it gives us time to be able to deal with these issues that have become massive. And if we just shut down South Florida, they'd all flee to California and to Texas.
Yeah, there's
so we have to shut the whole country down.
Exactly.
This unfortunate necessity.
You do realize that, like, to an extent, you have to trust the federal government. I mean, they give you your social security number, they give you your birth certificate, like they pretty much give you your identification, your ID. You have to trust the government to an extent. Like, whether you like it or not, that's just kind of how it is. And if they're saying that obviously something is wrong, then to an extent, you have to kind of believe them. At least they're trying to address it, and they're doing it in good faith of Americans so far. So it's something.
Allow
the roaches go somewhere
to get
else.
on top of what we believe is billions.
I mean, what you're really ideally seeing here is modern day colonization. I mean, why else would you have protests of people flying flags that aren't even of the country? Like, and then you have all this fraud trying to destabilize the entire country. You have all these illegals that are trying to destabilize certain, like, cities and towns. And then like the politics are, skimming off of that and using the votes to stay in power. That they're effectively trying to take over the country. I mean, what better way to take over a country than to destabilize it, put people in political power, and flood the cities with people that are from a foreign country? I mean, let's think about it for 5 seconds. They're literally using our own constitution against us. And then trying to call you racist and a Nazi because you've got that, like, that mentality of, helping everybody. And what they're doing is they're just taking advantage of it. That's effectively what they're doing.
Stop the $1.5 billion
shit, bro. Like,
billing,
this is nuts.
but we need more time to shut down these bad guys.
Cook the scammers?
But it's going to be effective, and it's not.
What better way to kill off a society than to make sure that its elderly don't have the benefits it needs to get medical treatment, and making sure that the kids go hungry and die? That means that there's even less people that they have to compete with.
The people need these services.
Then you got Ilhan Omar literally trying to get rid of the Department of Homeland Security. And you want to tell me this isn't some form of colonization?
We've designed the system so that all the people who are already selling products can continue to sell products until we check them out, but no new DME enrollments, no ownership changes. All the things that fraudsters have done historically will be blocked. This way we're preserving access, but we're not allowing tax dollars to be stolen. Now, you may be asking, why is it so important to crush fraud to assure the affordability of our nation? I'll just give you one example that we just finished dealing with. The Vice President's aware of this. We had skin substitutes that were generating, we believe, this coming year, $23 billion in billing.
Wow.
Because we're able to shut that down to where it's supposed to be, because they have a role when used appropriately. Every single senior in America, everyone, is going to get $132 extra money this year, just from that one thing that we shut down. That's the amount of money we're talking about, and it affects all of us. And to that note, because every one of you are affected, we want all of you to help us. So the third big announcement is we want to crush fraud by crowdsourcing ideas. We're issuing a request for information. We need and we want your help.
Oh man, they done called him out. They done called out the Roach King. You know what? The rate Asmon's going. He's going to be the Roach God soon.
The Vice President, myself, the President, Secretary Kennedy, all of us know that all of us are smarter than any one of us. So what can you do? We want your input on how to prevent, detect, and respond to fraud in government-funded healthcare. Whatever ideas you have, we're interested in. Our goal is to supercharge
Holy shit. Bro, that's how you know they're taking this serious. They want to hear not just from anyone. They want to hear from the fraudsters. They are taking this shit to a whole new level.
Integrity over the next 6 months. We put in a request. That means providers and suppliers and payers and technology companies, patient advocates, beneficiaries. If you see fraud, you let us.
I bet they're trying to pick up people like what Nick Shirley's doing. They're trying to find people who know.
No. A state Medicaid director can show us patterns of fraud that we're not aware of. A provider can help understand compliance burdens and how to deal with those more effectively. Patient advocates get cracking on making sure that people are aware of fraud. And like we have done already this year by pulling in those kinds of ideas, we've stopped almost $6 billion from leaving the building. But that leaves a lot more out there that we can take advantage of. So over the next 60 days...
And you know, any government should want this for its people, because look at it this way. You already have to work yourself to death. The age 65 to 70, depending on if they up it or lower it, who knows anymore, is that freedom from work. If you're being told from the moment you're alive that you don't have any welfare, you've got all these medical issues by the time you're 25, you haven't gotten any treatment, you've never been able to go to a doctor, you haven't been able to afford anything your entire fucking life, you've been homeless so many times throughout your life, then you grow old, working and dying. That's not going to be a government for very long. Your government should want to fix this because it keeps the government where it's at and not being overthrown like, for example, Iran. If your government doesn't have this in mind, it's probably not going to be a government for very long.
Initiative we just issued.
So it's in their benefit as well as the Americans to make sure this shit gets fixed soon.
Asking you to help us build something better, to help the brave patriots out there who want to play a role. Call 1-800-HHS-TIPS if you see fraud, or just go to cms.gov/fraud. Those are simple, easy ways for you to help us address the problems the Vice President highlighted. God bless you all. Mr. Vice President.
Holy fuck.
Great job.
Yo, bro, that was beautiful. Oh man, we got to hear what Vance said now.
Very, very, very important initiative, and
what a fucking phenomenal foundation they've laid down for this house. I'm not even kidding, dude. Like, dude, that's awesome.
God
I
damn.
didn't expect you to put me on the spot with Bobby Kennedy about my fast food habits, but here we are. Sir in the front.
Two things, Mr. Vice President. First, can you talk about the legal authority under which the federal government pauses legally obligated funds under mandatory funding from Congress, such as
Jesus.
Medicaid? And secondly,
man's on a mission. Yeah.
About the situation off the coast of Cuba, where there's a speedboat shot.
Well, we're gonna cover the speedboat situation. Some jackasses ended up off the coast of Cuba and got killed by the Cuban National Guard. We'll cover that later.
We've done that, Americans were killed or injured in it.
Yeah, so on the second thing, actually,
speedboat.
Marco briefed me about 15 minutes ago on it, but we don't know a whole lot of them.
We're gonna move on from that.
We're the ones who spend this money. Congress appropriate of the administration actually is assigning of the administration actually, we're the ones who spend this money. Congress appropriates it. We're the ones who actually make sure this goes to the people it ought to go to. And inherent in that is making sure that it only goes to the people that Congress says that it should go to. We shouldn't be sending money to fraudsters. We should not be sending money to companies that are committing mass fraud. We shouldn't be sending money to anybody that's trying to defraud the American taxpayer. So I know, Oz and his team, he's got the best team, I think, in healthcare anywhere in the private or the public sector. It's one of the great things I love about working with Dr. Oz is he's brought great people along with him, and congratulations on this. But I feel quite confident we have the legal authority to do this. And again, I'd reiterate, we don't want to do this. Like, we don't want to be in a situation where the state of Minnesota is being so careless with federal tax dollars that we have to turn the screws on them a little bit so that they take this fraud seriously. You heard Dr. Oz say this. Tim Walz could call him, could call me, could call anybody in the administration, and we've given him 60 days to respond to this. All we need the governor and the administration in Minnesota to do is something quite simple, which is to show that before you give Medicaid funds to somebody, you're taking seriously whether they provided the services that they say that they're providing. And the fact that there are so many people handing out millions and billions of dollars of federal Medicaid money without even confirming that they're doing the thing that they say that they're doing, it's a disgrace. It's a defrauding of the American taxpayer, and we're stopping it. Caitlin?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. 100,000%. Every state should be taking that serious because it affects every single American life. Look at it this way. If you have your state being funneled with nothing but fraud and you have all these services but nobody's being served, then what's even the point of opening up the service? What's even the point of having that? Why not just fraud people? If it's so easy to do, there's no accountability to make sure that you're going to do what your company is supposed to do. You have to hold these people accountable. Like
60 days that Governor Walz has to respond. What exactly is the condition that he needs to meet for this funding to be released back to his state? I just wasn't really clear on that.
What the fuck?
And secondly, on Iran, while you're here, can you explain to the American people why the United States would need to strike Iran to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon if the United States obliterated their enrichment program last summer?
Well, I'm not going to make any news on Iran today, Caitlin. I'll let the president make those announcements. As you know, he is sending 2 of his best negotiators to Geneva tomorrow in order to continue to try to strike the best deal possible for the American people. But the principle is very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they try to have a nuclear weapon, that causes problems for us. And in fact, we've seen evidence that they have tried to do exactly that. So the president sending those negotiators to try to address that problem, as the president has said repeatedly, he wants to address that problem diplomatically, but of course the president has other options as well. On what we need to see from Governor Walz, I'll say something about that briefly and then turn it over to Dr. Oz.
Put him in jail.
It's actually pretty simple. What we want to see from the governor of Minnesota, from the entire administration there in Minnesota, is some affirmative steps to make sure that the people who are billing us for Medicaid services are actually providing those Medicaid services. The main source of fraud, whether it's a small business or a bigger company, is you have people who are billing the government millions.
They had thousands, not thousands, they had hundreds of daycares that got shut down in Minneapolis the minute or Minnesota in general, the minute that funding got cut. If you had, here's the thing, with how much daycare centers charge, if you had a steady supply of kids going into that daycare, you wouldn't need federal funding. Dude, like, think about how much money it costs to put a child in daycare now. You wouldn't need federal funding. Shit. It's ridiculous. And why is it that if you were an actual business, you had to get shut down? If you had that many kids if you had 98 kids going to your daycare, brother, you don't need no federal funding. You're probably making well over what the federal funding would be giving your ass. But how much they charge in childcare? Fuck no. That's how you know it's a scam. You got to shut down because you're not getting any more federal funding, then you're not doing something right, brother.
Tens of millions, billions of dollars.
Shit, my mom had to get a damn job at daycare just to put my ass in daycare. I know them motherfuckers make money.
They're providing a service, but there's no actual confirmation.
That's right.
There's no follow-up to ensure that they're actually providing those services. We want to see that follow-up from Minnesota. Dr. Oz maybe can speak to a little bit more about how exactly we want to see that.
Let me combine both these questions. So on December the 7th, we sent a letter to Governor Walz asking for a corrective action plan, which is a mechanism for us to extract from the state what they think they can do to fix the problems. The answer we got back at the end of the month, which is what the deadline was inadequate. We alerted them to this. We issued guidance that we were going to defer income based on an audit of last quarter's money. So we actually went dutifully through all of the bills.
I'm kind of shocked that the United States government hasn't been auditing all these states. Like, I don't know why they don't have like a national audit to make it like a competition. If you have like really good numbers, you get more federal funding. Like, seriously, why don't we do that? Have like an incentive behind making sure that the money is going where it needs to go. It would help out every American citizen. There would be less homeless people. Like, you could ask for funding if you live in one of the higher tier states. They would give it to you, and you can use that for housing. Why don't we have some kind of competition like that set up? Why is that?
We found that of these high-risk services, roughly half of them, you really couldn't trust the data we were looking at. It's not that the numbers don't add up. The backup to the numbers is not there. So what do we need to have happen? We need to know that the providers actually are the real providers.
That's why
there's no person that you can associate with the treatment itself. We need you, after you adjudicate who these providers are, make sure they're not already in trouble for doing bad stuff, and then evaluate all the current providers to make sure they're supposed to be able to provide these services. And there's a whole slew of tools that we can use, including checking before you pay the bill that the bill is legitimate. That prepayment review is incredibly important. It's cumbersome. It's clunky. We wish we didn't have to do it. But I'm going to highlight something that the Vice President mentioned.
Bring in pirates. You've got to have anti-pirate measures.
That we normally would not pay for. They're services we give to you because your family can't do them for you. If it's a hernia operation, there's a dozen people who have credentials, licensing.
Deport the orcs from the Shire.
But if your service is transporting you to the doctor's office and you can't tell me who actually drove the car and why they billed so much and did the patient even go to the doctor's office?
That's another dead giveaway. Dude, these people, they charge so fucking, like, they charge so much, like, these hospital places and everything like that, they charge so much fucking money. Not having a form of Medicaid or Medicare is life-ruining with how much they charge. They charge you for every it's like 50, 60, sometimes 100, sometimes even more than that on fucking soap. Like, dude, who the fuck buys soap for $100? If I knew that I went to a hospital and I was going to get charged $100 fucking for soap, my ass would be down in the fucking medical gown at a fucking store buying soap for $10. Like, how you gonna charge $100 fucking or $50 for fucking soap?
And then we have to do our job.
Oh, it's medical soap. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what kind of soap. Soap ain't $50, man.
What you would want us to do, which is
but we buy it in bulk. I can solve that problem right now. I'll even leave the whole pack here for anyone else who needs to use it that needs to save $50 to $100 fucking dollars. That's crazy.
Nobody went to the doctor. There's no car. There's no patient.
Echo 60 days. That's the deadline. We expect to hear back. We've been following the rules meticulously to do this correctly, which is one of the reasons we're optimistic will be effective in Minnesota.
Yeah, fucking $10 for like 4 Tylenol, bro. Oh, but it's because they brought it over. It costs $10 for you to walk your lazy ass across the fucking room to get me some Tylenol? Hell. What the fuck? Might as well just be eating acorns at that point.
Wow.
President, I'm just wondering about this huge
WTV doctor.
Bro, you can get a whole goddamn bottle for $15 that's like, got like 1,000 capsules in it.
How did you arrive at that number? What number is realizable in terms of savings? And you've mentioned California.
Dr. R's legit doctor? Yeah, he's like
a kind of snapshot of where
he's
dude, insurance is a fucking scam. We need to get rid of insurance companies in America. We need to. They're all scams. Car insurance, health insurance, it's all a fucking scam. House insurance, it's a scam. LA is a good example of that. When you get priced out of an area and you refuse to help people get their fucking houses back because it burnt down, but yet you're forced. Here's the kicker. In this, I don't know how it is in California, but or LA, but here in Texas, in order to get a house, you must have homeowners insurance. How is that even possible? How's that even legal?
Like cardiologists, right?
After emergency.
And what's crazy is people were still getting fucked over whenever Harvey hit because none of their fucking insurance offered flood. So the insurance companies didn't have to pay for shit.
Ruled by Democratic. I mean,
It's a fucking scam.
California, Minnesota, both Democratic-run states, so it's a little bit of a preview.
Well, you said ruled
heart
by
surgeon.
Democrats. We didn't use that word.
Halfway.
You did. But here's what I'd say. $300 billion in the grand scheme of how much the federal government spends on healthcare services.
It's a lot, right?
It sounds like a ton of
It's
money.
a lot, yeah.
It's actually, the federal government spends well over $1 trillion in providing medical services to the American people.
Holy
And based
shit.
on what we've seen, based on the amount of services that we've seen that have been billed that are fraudulent, and also based on the fact that in a number of blue states, and this is true as far as I know only in blue states, where you have illegal aliens encouraged to get on the Medicaid program, we actually think $300 billion may be conservative.
That's
and
right.
we certainly, our ambition here is to get as much of that money back for the American taxpayer as possible. Again, we're taking the social safety net. We're taking something
And this is the reason why you have to hold individual states accountable. Because, for example, like the LA truckers, those illegal immigrants that are getting like people killed, is that you can't let these states, to an extent, decide what they're going to do whenever it's everybody's taxpayer money. It's everyone's taxpayer money. The minute you pay your taxes on your hard-earned money and you get your paycheck, that is sent to a big fucking pot that everybody draws from. And the last thing you want is if you're in, let's say, Texas, and you were spending $1,000 of your firefighting money where you went into burning buildings and saved people's fucking lives, going to a terrorist organization in Somalia. Like, I don't want my money to go there. I worked hard for that goddamn money. Why the fuck would I want my money that I had to bust my ass for, go through training, go to college, go to some fucking foreign country? I don't want that. I want my money, man. If you're not going to use it for nothing, then give it back. But I damn sure don't want it to go to that. I don't want it to go to no scammers. I want to make sure that my kids are going to be able to use that money. I want to make sure that my family's going to be able to use that money whenever they get old, which I don't really have a family like that. But if I, had grandparents, or if I had a mother or dad that was grow old, I would have, it'd have been nice. Okay. But like, I damn sure don't want it to go to that. The fuck?
Exists for the benefit of people who can't pay for medicine on their own. We want to help our fellow Americans. We can't do that if those programs are being defrauded by people who either shouldn't be here in the first place or have the legal right to be here but are committing criminal acts by defrauding these systems.
Can I clarify one number?
Go ahead, please.
Just on the numbers, the $300 billion is from the Kaiser Family Foundation assessment of estimated 5% fraud in all healthcare, not just federally funded healthcare. So
Only
it's 5% of the total,
5%?
roughly $6 trillion. We spend almost close to $2 trillion, $1.8 trillion of federal monies. So the federal portion will be about $100 billion, and we believe much of that would be
Vance saying
achievable.
this after
It's
you
not
said 2
fraud,
hours
it's
ago?
fraud, waste, and abuse.
Everybody's been
altogether.
saying this.
Yep. No, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you can go first and then you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Vice President. As you know, the Kurds have been loyal allies to the United States for decades.
The Kurds?
You're fighting dictatorship in Iraq. We're fighting terrorism in the region. And recently, President Masoud Barzani worked closely with the U.S. Special Envoy to Syria to help find a peaceful solution to the conflict there. How do you see the future of the strategic relationship between the Kurdistan and the United States of America?
Well, look.
Kurds and Syrians are killing each other.
Focus on the fact that way too many people are defrauding the American population. But, we have a great relationship with the Kurds. The president loves the Kurds. I know that the entire administration, we've had great
We don't have
contacts
any
and
answer for
great
you.
friendships with the people, the Kurdish people in various countries all over the world.
Totally
And look, our
unprepared for
attitude
this
is
one.
We want those people to be able to live in peace and harmony and prosperity with their neighbors. We've pursued a foreign policy of peace in part because we want the Kurdish people, but also the Arab people who live there, the Jewish people who live there, the Christians. We want everybody to be able to live in peace. And that has been the main focus of our policy in Syria. It's been the main focus of our policy really all over the world. Ma'am? Yeah. Let's, thank you.
How do you intend to make sure that the consequences of ending these fraud programs in Minnesota don't impact the people who are enrolled in Medicaid?
They will. There will be
Yeah, no, they're going to impact the people. They are. They are absolutely going to impact the people. But the thing is you have to look at the short term versus the long term. If we don't fix this now, there will be no money for the long term. It will impact them. It will obviously hurt them now, but it's better to solve this problem now than to let the money dry up and then there's just no money and then it's going to impact them forever. So,
damage that will affect legitimate people.
Do you think that the polls
It's inevitable.
show that Democrats historically have the advantage on healthcare? Do you think that these efforts on fraud might change that for Republicans?
That will happen
I'm not
for
really
sure.
worried about the politics. I'm worried about the justice of it all. I think it's offensive that American taxpayers pay into these programs and they are defrauded.
thank you, Jesus Christ. Why does everything have to be left and right or politically charged bullshit? Fuck off, man. It's bad to have your hard-earned money being sent to people that haven't put into the system. Nobody wants that. It's bad.
In some ways, more
And we
significantly
can't
than that,
fucking afford it as a country either.
it's really sad that American children who need these services aren't able to get them because it's going to fraudsters instead of somebody else. So here's what I think. I mean, look, we're certainly going to make sure that our anti-fraud efforts go after the fraudsters and not after anybody who actually benefits
There
from
will
these
be
services.
collateral damage.
But I actually think the question is a little off
It's
in a
inevitable.
way, because the problem is not going after the fraud. The problem is the fact that these programs are being defrauded to begin with.
Exactly.
They will not exist. Our social safety net will disappear unless we take fraud more seriously. So what I'm most worried about is that unless we preserve
exactly
these
what I was
programs
saying.
for the next generation, they're going to disappear and all the money's going to...
No, okay, so you have been a problem child. I can see how many times you've chit-chatted. So, Kate, for your own information, I was a firefighter that made $67,000 a year. And I tried to get a fucking mortgage for a house that was only going to be $130,000 a year because I knew the owner and I had been there for 6 years. She wanted to basically give me this fucking property as long as the mortgage was paid off. They were trying to charge me a 5% interest rate and trying to charge me well over what I could afford to pay per month on that mortgage. Now, what's crazy is that the homeowner bought that house for $200,000 a year, and she had put in PEX plumbing. She had a water softening unit put into that house. She had got a whole new breaker box on it. She had removed trees off the property. She had done quite a bit of work on that property. She even added on to the property. The fact of the matter is that for somebody who literally risked their life for a different community than I even lived in, I had to drive 47 minutes to get to work at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning to get to where I worked. And I had to stay there roughly for about 2 days and have 1 day off. And they had gouged me so much on my taxes that it was worth more money for me not to be forced to work overtime. I would have made more money. They were taking thousands of dollars away from me in taxes. I could not afford a house. And the unfortunate fact is I was on the higher end of most people who had blue-collar jobs. So maybe you don't know what you're talking about.
Go to fraudsters.
They will crash
Go
out
ahead.
completely.
You're mentioning a lot about justice of it all. So what exactly would that look like? I think Dr. Rice had mentioned that jail sentences aren't necessarily the right way to go, but is there a way of clawing this money back?
I don't know what she's saying.
Refunds? Do you want predictions on that? And then I have follow-up questions.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are certainly ways to claw some of the money back. It depends on the circumstances of the case. When you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars potentially.
You don't get a choice where federal tax dollars go. Congress, hell, dude, you're not even like coherent. Everyone's just asking for you to be banned, so I'm just gonna ban you. Enjoy the Shadow Realm. Like, oh my god, the messages. Holy shit. Everyone in chat, the moderator was fucking complaining about you. You're probably running off people that want to just enjoy the stream. You got to go. Enjoy the Shadow Realm.
to get that money
that's,
back.
that's a big
Like,
universe.
half the shit that person was saying wasn't even coherent.
Cases. There are different ways of anticipating it. You know, you heard Dr. Oz say some of these people, they will commit a crime and then
Go to jail
leave
for
the
a year.
country. Obviously, we're not going to prosecute people who aren't even in the United States anymore. But I really do think that criminal penalties for some of these fraud cases have to happen.
That's how I know you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Overtime is not taxed the normal rate as the dude. That is just fucking brain dead. You've got to be some dumb motherfucker if you think you know anything about that.
Have to make, sure
You always get taxed more on overtime.
we stop the fraud being committed against the American people.
At least in Texas you do. I can't speak for any other state, but in Texas you do.
Citizens, you ought to face the full consequences.
Why do you think? Actually, no, that's bullshit. Because why do you think Trump went through the fucking headache of trying to take taxes out of overtime? That's just stupid.
Absolutely.
Not
for a year.
Yep.
Advance this effort. Can you give me an update on a timeline for when we might see a name announced, when you want the Senate to start working on confirmation?
Find him,
Yes,
put him
I
in
believe
prison.
we have
exactly.
the name announced. I would say that Colin is on the Hill maybe today or yesterday. Colin will be the new AAG to help us combat fraud. I believe he's had great meetings all over the Hill today as part of the Senate confirmation
because of the
process. I
YouTuber?
think he's impressed
Yeah.
a lot of people. He's certainly impressed me.
Nick Shirley did
and
this.
again, we have a whole of government approach. I mean, what Dr. Oz is doing at CMS is very, very hard work, but it's not the only thing. We're trying to buttress it.
And I love that I actually had somebody in my comments one time that was so fucking retarded. Well, then why do you work overtime? Motherfucker, nobody wants to work overtime. At the reason why I left the fire department that I worked at is because it was supposed to be a 24-hour shift with 2 days off, 48 hours off. They were forcing overtime because nobody wanted to fucking work there because the schedule is shit. That's why. Oh, that was almost, I almost threw up. Woo. That water almost came back up to visit y'all, man. Oh. That's why nobody wanted to work there. That's also the reason why I left, is because I got tired of working 48 fucking hours straight and only having a couple hours off on my 1 day off and having to do a bunch of shit because I've been stuck at work for 2 fucking days. Like, yeah, no, fuck that. Nah, man.
Approach.
Acting like as an American you have the choice to not work overtime, bro. They will fire your ass. And with the fact is that with the they can any state in America for the most part can fire you for any fucking reason. Not working overtime? Well, I guess we'll just find somebody who will. And then there's where your illegal immigration comes in, boys. What better way to make sure someone works than if you threaten to send them back to their own country?
The Senate Treasury is going to work on this.
Ain't got to worry about that motherfucker after you fire them pulling out what's it called? Unemployment. You got to worry about that bitch pulling out unemployment, man. You just ship their ass back.
Great Department of Justice work on this.
He's got to go after the people, the banks.
It's a serious problem for the American people, and so we got to fix it. Go ahead.
We just got to debank the people that are scamming. Get their money. Fuck them.
Yeah, they should debank all these fraudsters, and they should seize all their assets, and they should auction all the assets off and use that money to put it back into the federal funding, so that way that money can go where it needs to go.
For how you'll handle it in other states or other tools that you'll be using that would like to treat you?
Well, I think you can, certainly. There are certain things that we're doing in Minneapolis and Minnesota that we're not going to be able to do in other parts of the country because the fraud is going to be different in each place. But yeah, I think this basic model of saying to people, hey, you get a massive amount of money to provide a service to people. Did you actually provide that service? The fact that it's even controversial that we're asking these questions as a government goes to show how much the culture of fraud has permeated Washington, D.C. Think about this. We're talking about people
They want to enable a bunch of third worlders to live here.
Autistic children.
Yeah.
They pretend their children or some other person's kid is autistic. They collect a fat check.
Yeah.
They don't provide an ounce of services. And then the very money that's supposed to go to needy kids isn't there anymore to help those needy children.
Fucking ridiculous.
The fact that we have so normalized this and the fact that I guarantee there are going to be voices in the media.
I would like to say that you have to keep in mind that the people that are against this, like if you, like for example, I'm doing a stream, you would be surprised how many people are against this, and some of them aren't even Americans, so they're not even going to be faced with this. Some of them may even be bots from like a foreign country that are like propaganda bots. Like if you click on some of these profiles and you'll see like they have like a couple hundred subs, right? And you click on their shit, and how do you have a couple hundred subs if you ain't got no videos? How does that make any sense? And then you'll click on another person, and then they got a couple hundred subs, and you're like, that's the same amount or roughly the same amount as the other person. And you're in someone's chat saying negative things about Americans that should click with you that they're either bots or they're not Americans. They don't like, they're not in it, you know, or they're kids. They're kids, either one.
Media, there are going to be voices in the state of Minnesota who say, this is hurting children. No, it's hurting fraudsters. The way to protect kids is to go after those fraudsters.
The way to protect kids is to make sure that they have welfare by the time, 6 or 7 years comes around. Because if they don't act now, there's not going to be any more fraud. There's not going to be any more money to give to anybody.
Which is what we're doing. Sir.
President, thank you for taking questions. Dr. Oz mentioned the word guardrails when it comes to this.
We are at a point right now where you could either choose to mass import people or you can choose welfare. We can't do both. No country can do both.
Expect the federal government look to implement new guardrails to prevent the normalization of fraud like this from continuing. Do you believe it would be more effective for states that you're investigating?
Yeah, they weren't providing a service. It was obvious.
The best way to do it would be a mixture.
Needs a shout out Nick Shirley. Yeah, true.
Should a move like this that you're announcing today send to other states that might be under the microscope?
I mean, look, we would love to better work with the states here. We need the states to combat.
That is such a stupid ass thing to say. Why are you acting like the government ain't just printing out money? Well, guess what, lobotomite? If you keep printing out money, do you want to spend $1 million just to get a fucking loaf of bread? We all saw how that worked out for Germany. Come on, bruh. Use a fucking brain cell.
This fraud, and frankly, if Minnesota had done a better job of combating the fraud,
none of this
we
would
would
happen.
not be here at this press conference today.
Nick Shirley's
We'd send out
video
a letter
wouldn't happen.
celebrating the fact that Minnesota had worked with us to cut down on some of the fraud. I'll let Dr. Oz speak a little bit more to that question, but look, the best way for this
Can't
to
be
work
acting like a high trust
would be for the
society
federal
anymore.
government to work with the state governments.
Deport the orcs.
We'd love for that to happen. I think you're going to see
Get 'em
that in
out.
some states, even some blue states, but you're not going to see it in others.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to have people wiping their ass with those bills, man. The hell? You don't want to just keep printing out money like that. Money's going to be fucking worthless.
Legislation, for the first time in a long time, aligned the president and vice president with the governor so they have the same goal. So we've been talking to the states a lot.
That's what gives it its value is the fact that it is a finite resource. If you just keep printing it out, it's not going to be worth shit. It's like diamonds. There is an ample supply of diamonds, but they fucking crack, they squeeze the process to make them so that way they're worth more.
We are generating some frameworks that we believe states could apply. Medicaid is run by the state. They know their most vulnerable populations well. It's different than Alaska on the North Shore slope where you can't get there this time of year to southern Alabama, lower Alabama, or LA as they call it.
Fuck this
But
Oz
the
guy?
reality
What do you mean?
is
He's
there
been
are
cooking the whole
similarities
time.
Is that Dr. Oz? Holy shit, bro, looks like a mad scientist now.
In some of these programs, especially the
Been going
ones
crazy.
that are high risk, and so we're going to share those best practices. But
Man, the Trump administration has definitely tightened up since its last election, huh? Remember Rudy Giuliani was part of this?
the techniques that we're using in Minnesota can be applied in other states, but it's the fraud, however, that will drive that.
Like, I'm sorry, but Trump's first term was a shit show. This is actually really well put together.
There are some states, I mentioned Florida, that's a red state where there's a big fraud problem in the southern part. They're trying to get their arms around it. We've sent a letter to Minnesota, which has a Republican senator. We're very concerned about New York, where the single...
It seems like there's not really much else. They're just repeating what they had already said. Let's move on from this because we do have a lot more shit that we got to cover. So the Democrats fell into the trap when it came to the State of the Union. Oh my God, dude. I can't hear a goddamn thing. By the way, sub to the channel. Hit the like button if you've been watching for a little bit. Hit the like button. It helps out with them views. Hit the sub button. We have a TikTok, we have a Kick, we have a Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. We got it all. We got a Discord. You can join the Discord. Drop a video in there. If you do anything stupid or dumb or post anything that shouldn't be, like, you know, any kind of corn or anything like that shit, you're gonna get booted just like on the stream. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to about 11:30. Monday through Friday, like I said, we off on the weekends because I got to recoup my brain cells. There's too many fucking dumbasses that get down in chat that make me want to hurt, that make my brain hurt. So
I didn't know you caused such a stir and such a controversy. I mean, how horrible that you took pictures of American champions that made us proud, that are proud of their president, their country, and proud to represent us.
Well, I didn't know it caused such a controversy either, Sean, until I just saw that headline flash on the screen, and I'm truly appalled. I saw a lot of Democrat commentators today spiraling out of control, grasping at straws, trying to find any excuse to criticize President Trump.
You can also join the, it's like the YouTube thing where you can get like little emotes and shit. You got custom emotes, so if you want to join up with the program thing, I don't know what the fuck it's called. But you can join that shit too. The channel's set up to where if you get part of the program or whatever, your name will be on the front page of the channel. So
exceptional speech last night, and they have a very hard time doing so. It's even forced them, as you just pointed out, to turn against the great men and women who brought home gold medals for the first time in 46 years since the Miracle on Ice. These are great men. They're patriots. They are great.
And those guys worked hard to get where they're at too. They busted their ass to get that stuff, man. How are you not going to stand up and give these guys the honor that they're due? They're like the best in the world. How could you not give these guys their paid due? Like, they worked their ass off to get where they're at.
46 years since the Miracle on Ice. These are great men. They're patriots. They are great athletes who represented our country at the highest level of sports. And the president was so proud to present them to the joint Congress last night. Both Democrats and Republicans should be able to stand up and clap for these young men who made our country so proud on the world stage. But unfortunately, it appears that Democrats, their brains have been so debilitated by Trump derangement syndrome that they can't even root for Team USA. They can't even stand when the president calls on them to do so for American citizens who they swear an oath to protect.
You know, if you go back in time, I mean, we have clips we played on this program of Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, even Chuck Schumer saying you need ID or else it lends itself to corruption and fraud. And that was the Democratic Party then. This party does not even represent Barack Obama or Bill Clinton. And I thought, especially in the case of Barack Obama, he was pretty far left. Now, I think the absolute genius in the speech last night, and I want to know if you agree, is the president created the greatest, you know, comparative choice election this country will ever face. You know, if you think it's the first duty of the government to protect American citizens and not illegals, stand with us. They didn't stand, Caroline. They sat. What does that say?
It shows their true colors, Sean. President Trump set the Democrats up in a trap, and they fell right into it.
Well, the thing is like, she's right. From everything that I've seen online, these people try to use this whole moral bullshit to try and feed on your empathy and your emotions to effectively rob you of your money. That's what they've done. I mean, like, Minneapolis is a good example of that. And whenever you're so morally captivated with foreign countries that you won't even stand for the American Olympic gold medalist hockey team that won an Olympic gold medal, meaning they're the best in the world. They're Americans, they're patriots, they're badasses. They worked hard for that. You can't even acknowledge that because you're so you're so captured by your ideology that you won't even stand for even another parent, a mother who lost her daughter in a trucker accident because of an illegal. Like, And you wanna throw your morals around, and they just got a taste of their own medicine is what happened.
They cannot help themselves. They truly stand on the side of the tens of millions of illegal aliens who they allowed to pour in to our nation's open borders under the Biden administration. They truly stand on the side of career criminals who have gone to jail not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 12 times in the case of the young woman in North Carolina whose neck was slit by a career criminal who was released back onto the streets in North Carolina by Democrat policies, and they could not even stand for her heartbroken mother, who President Trump was.
Yeah, that lady escaped a war-torn Ukraine and got her throat, here in America. Can't even escape a war from a foreign country without dying in a place that is supposed to be safe.
Commending
Let that sink in. She probably still be alive if she was in a war-torn country.
They couldn't even stand for a young girl who is now suffering a brain problem for the rest of her life because of an illegal alien truck driver who smashed into her family's vehicle. It was so despicable to be in that chamber and to watch.
That's right. Her family's going to have to take care of her for the rest of her life. That little girl's way of life, her way of living is completely altered. And you know what's really fucked? Is that if they don't step in and fix all this fraud, that little girl's not going to be able to collect money anymore. Which means that she's going to be forced to get a job if she can find one. Let that sink in.
As these Democrats really did show their true colors. But to your point, the president, it was a brilliant idea. It was his idea to put that into the speech. And it proved to be right because he wanted the American people to know that this is a choice between common sense and President Trump and Republicans and crazy radical Democrats who stand for nothing except for being against Donald Trump.
Last night,
I genuinely think they stand against masculinity. They stand against anything that has to do with American patriotism. Why would you want to shun the best country in the world? You are in that position because you are here, because of the benefits that American constitutions give you. And you want to sit there and act like that? Man, that's rough.
They gave Republicans the greatest gift they could ever want, and that is they expose themselves to be so radical.
They
so
are
extreme,
able to think.
So out of touch.
They're able to think the way they think because they don't live in a country like China or Russia. Guess what happens to people who do that kind of stuff in China or Russia, or for that matter, do anything that opposes the political party that's already there? They come up missing. It's that privilege that they're able to sit in that seat and act the way they do for these families and these victims.
So lacking common sense.
And you can thank the United States Constitution and the United States of America. God bless America, baby.
I think this will all play out in the midterms. Caroline, great to see you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox.
So somehow these fucking idiots managed to end up off the coast of Brazil, miles away from Florida, and they got shot and killed. I kind of don't feel bad for them.
The Trump administration is launching an investigation after Cuba's Coast Guard killed 4 people and hurt 6 others aboard a U.S. registered boat.
And Lucas Tomlinson joins us live.
Well, maybe you just shouldn't be somewhere you don't belong. Like, what are you doing?
Details, Lucas.
Well, good morning, Ainsley. That's a pretty small boat, just 24 feet. A rare gun battle in the high seas off the coast of Cuba, inside territorial.
Oh, didn't they have guns too? Hold on, wait. I think they had guns as well, didn't they?
Waters. The Cuban Ministry of Interior says, quote, the neutralized speedboat was carrying 10 armed people.
Oh, yeah, no, dude. What the fuck were they doing? What the hell were they doing?
Who, according to preliminary statements by the detainees, had intentions to carry out an...
He's probably trying to go get that fentanyl. They went off the wrong coast, got lost.
Infiltration for terrorist purposes. The gunfire erupted near Kyle Falcones. One of the victim's family members told the Associated Press her relative had become obsessed with a, quote, quest for Cuba's freedom, wanting a change in government. The details of the incident...
The fuck? Oh my god, no way. Natural selection is back, baby. You mean to tell me that these schizos are reading shit online and they getting themselves capped because they go into a foreign country thinking they're gonna change it?
It remain unclear. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says he's gathering information.
Suffice it to say, it is highly unusual to see shootouts in open sea like that. It's not something that happens every day. It's something, frankly, that hasn't happened with Cuba in a very long time. But we're going to find out. We're not going to base our conclusions on what they've told us.
Boys, this is a prime example of natural selection. It kind of reminds me of that jackass that fled America and moved to Canada, and now she's begging for money on TikTok because she can't afford anything.
And I'm very, very confident that we will know the full story of what happened here, and we will know it soon. And then, we'll respond appropriately based on what that information tells us.
A similar message from Tallahassee. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has been briefed on the incident, and his attorney general says, I've directed the Office of Statewide Prosecution to work with our federal, state, and law enforcement partners to begin an investigation. The Cuban government cannot be trusted, and we will do everything in our power to hold these communists
Pirates of
accountable.
Cuba is back.
The Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Coast Guard are also investigating
smugglers for
doing so
Venezuela.
without pay, as DHS continues to lack funding from Congress, guys.
All right, thanks so much, Lucas. I never thought we would be
Bro,
talking
how
about...
fucking dumb do you have to be? Seriously, bro. What they said, like what, 4 or 5 guys, 4 on a boat, 4 guys on a boat were about to overthrow the fucking Brazilian government, bruh. You can't even feel bad for that kind of stupidity. Like, if it wouldn't have been that, it'd have been something else. Bro, they would have gotten eaten by sharks if they went swimming. It'd have been in a fucking backyard pool, and they'd have been like, where the fuck did the shark come from? Natural selection. when your charisma and luck are just that bad.
like that. So I never thought we'd be talking about...
The character selector was not very good to those people.
Cuba firing on these fighters. They say the boat initiated the firefight.
Jesus Christ!
The American boat, which was the American boat, doesn't mean there's Americans on it.
Correct. Doesn't know if even the owner of the boat knew that they were on his boat.
Well, this is interesting. The timing is interesting. There was just some new reporting that came about a week ago about Marco Rubio using back channels with the leader of Cuba's son. And making it very clear the president's intentions to get rid of the narco-terrorism that is there as well, especially after that Venezuelan mission that was successful. So to have this happen, we don't have all the information, but Rubio is making it very clear we're going to investigate it, and if there were Americans that were targeted on there, the action.
Well, then they're fucking stupid. Look, man, you can only do so much for stupid people. Don't start a war with Brazil because 4 dumbasses on a boat decided they were going to go liberate Brazil.
Responsible
what a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, and his family is of Cuban descent, and
Jesus,
these were individuals
man.
being reported that were living in the United States.
Right.
And Cuba saying they were trying to infiltrate their country on this American boat. And so there was this shootout. We don't know many details past that. We don't know who owns the boat.
Remember, Marco Rubio's family fled Cuba.
That's right.
The same for Ted Cruz as well. And so when it comes to a lot of these issues in Latin America, it is very, personal for them as well. Obviously, they're going to represent the interests of the United States, but they know the region.
Yeah, NBC is reporting the government department named one of the people who were killed as Michael Ortega Casanova. Quote, he fell into an obsession.
Casanova, huh?
This and diabolical quest for Cuba's
Oh,
freedom.
no!
His brother, Messiah Ortega Casanova, told the Associated Press that. He said his brother was a truck driver and an American citizen who lived in the U.S. for 20 years and was married. Only us Cubans who have lived over there have understood what it went to. So, American involved.
Marco Rubio is going to be very busy today because he has Witkoff and Jared Kushner.
What a joke, man. What a joke. Fucking morons. Okay.
Stuff is basically over. It's over. We won. The New York Times, the ideological compass of the party organ of the Western liberal world, is now ringing the bell for the very movement it once championed. The American Medical Association is backpedaling. A jury just awarded $2 million to a survivor of this barbarism. I like that word. The wall of consensus is crumbling, and now everyone...
Barbarism is barbarian. It's like barbarianism, or it's not barbarian, it's barbarism, but barbarian.
One can see the bricks were hollow. That's a good one. I like that. That's a very good one. I'm gonna follow this guy. And anyway, Towers do a video about New Jersey got taken down. I know that, and then his Patreon got canceled. And so anyway, medical associations trusted belief over science on youth gender care. Gentlemen, it's obvious. It's been obvious.
Man, they are just taking fat L's all across the board when it comes to everything so far. I mean, Minneapolis was a big fat fucking flopperooski. Everything that these people have touched has literally turned to shit, and they still don't want to admit it.
Obvious. Everybody that wasn't retarded knew this, but for some reason...
You can't chop off a child's wang dang doodle because you're just crazy.
Some people out there were like, well, no, not necessarily. Well,
No.
if you look at them, they're the experts. And, you know, these people, they have a degree in this. And there's no way that all these people that have college degrees just got together and are fucking retarded. There's no way that could happen. And
Well, you have to keep in mind that you have students being walked out. Okay, so there was a 5-year-old... 12, 13? Actually, I think it was 12. A 12-year-old disabled child that was left behind in a school walkout that the child had no idea what was going on. Ended up calling the mother. This made it on Fox News. We reacted to this, by the way. It's on the channel. Go look it up. And the child was left there unattended. A mentally ill child, by the way. Had to call her parent, or their parent, I don't know if it was a boy or girl, had to call their parent, and had the parent come and pick them up, wondering what the fuck is going on. So it's obvious that it's systemic, all the way down to the base level. Who knows how long it's been going on for, but it's a problem.
I've had to deal and listen with this bullshit for fucking years, right? And this is the problem, is that, and here's the other big issue, is that a lot of people, and here we have this one too. This is what I was looking for. And guess who's back in? Yes, exactly. Our Cheezer allegation is true. I don't even know who Cheezer is. I mean, I do know who Cheezer is. He's a kick streamer, but I don't know even what the allegations are. And anyway, so I think that we need to realize, here's something that I feel like we need to just come to a acceptance on. 99% of soft science, if you wiped history clean, would never be reinvented even remotely the same as it is now.
Yep, that's true.
Every single piece of hard science, if you wiped history clean and you started clean slate, would be recreated exactly the same as it is now.
Yep.
It's because one of them is real and the other one really isn't.
Yep.
They're just generalities. It's important to keep that in mind. We wouldn't be reinventing this stuff if we, reset civilization or history at all.
It wouldn't.
The science can't be replicated.
You can't, if you want to do your own thing when you turn 18, and you want to, get transitioned, that's on you. Leave the goddamn kids out of this, man. You have no reason to bring a child into this. A child doesn't know what gender they are. They're a fucking child. And they're expecting the adults that live around them to be the adults. And they're expecting, and the parents are expecting the fucking medical professionals to be medical professionals instead of somebody trying to push an ideology.
Yeah, because there is no science. So there have been a lot of people who are, cosplaying as scientists, who are, pretending like their positions on these topics were legitimate because they had a degree.
That's right,
Now,
these so-called experts.
A lot of people, and this is a problem, is that a lot of stupid Redditors, especially, and people with a Reddit mentality, like those people, the moment that they hear a person in a lab coat tell them what's right, they just blindly follow it because, again, they have this obsession with reaffirming authority. And they think that authority can never be wrong, authority can never be misused, authority can never be misled, and authority can never be held by a person with bad intentions. And so it's midwit. Yeah, it's a midwit mentality, right? Because like really stupid people are like, well, you can't give me that vaccine. What if it's got like a tracker in it? You know? What if it got that?
Or you got them saying you can't give me that vaccine because it's got a tracker in it. There's always that one, even though you have a phone. A phone that has a setting on it that allows you to show your location.
Well, I don't know what, though. Like, you just came up with that? Didn't it take a long time like polio? You know, and then you got the smart people that are like, well, you know, I don't want to take it yet. You know, I'm not sure what the long-term effects are. I mean, who knows? You know, I want to, you know, I'm healthy. I'm just going to take other best practices. And both sides is one of those things where really dumb people and smart people, I think, come to the same consensus, whereas, you know, people that are in the middle get misled. And I think that's generally what happens, right? And I think, yeah, the bell curve, exactly, yeah. And is there there is a replicability. I've never said that word before. There's a replicability crisis currently in psychology, further boosting your point. Well, that's because the majority of psychology is fan fiction. That's the reason why. And, you know, these people, they invent, basically, here's what happens, is that a council of Karens gets together with fake degrees, and they agree with each other about the way that things are. And then they write a book, and they quote each other, and then they turn that into the way that things are. This is what's been going on for the last 50 years. It is. And so as soon as you realize that's what's been happening, you can take a step back and see, oh, okay, wait a minute, this is all just bullshit. Mm-hmm. That happens with almost everything, right? Is that a false consensus is generated with almost every topic. And what happens is that people basically say something, and then somebody else says something, and then they cross-reference each other, and then they create a established reality of that thing, and then other people...
So they're lying so hardcore that what they think they're saying is true.
You know, talk about that thing as if it was real. But really, it's just two idiots agreeing with each other. That's really about it. So anyway, I don't want to go too far into that. I just want to say, like, right here, the science doesn't seem so settled after all. And it's important to understand what happened here. The approach of left-of-center Americans and our institutions to assume that when a scientific organization releases a policy statement on a hot button issue, that the policy statement must be accurate is deeply...
It has to be unbiased. It should be unbiased as well. If you're a scientist or you're somebody that does research like this, you need to be unbiased. You need to be unbiased because what you find will alter somebody's life.
Naive to understanding of science, human nature, and politics and how they interact. This is actually one of the most based articles. This is amazing. I am so happy to see this. And you're seeing a lot of people that are angry about this too, right? Because now, you know, now we're seeing people finally, you know, there's like, they're breaking the conditioning. Right? I think that's generally what's happening more than anything. This is a 9/11 to trust the science crowd. Well, this is what I was saying, right? Is that like trust the science? How can you trust the science if you think men should compete against women in sports, right? I mean, you obviously don't care about science. If you did, you wouldn't be saying that. Like, no reasonable, rational person thinks that men should be competing against women in sports, right? Like, the only people that say that are people that are afraid of blowback and also people that are retarded. That's literally it. Now, here's what we need to do next. Now that we've established that the youth gender care and, you know, like sex changes for children and people saying this didn't happen, here's the numbers of how many of them it happened with. Here we go. Let's listen to it.
And the statistics are just staggering. 5,747 children underwent.
5,000 people. 5,747 children.
Surgical mutilation, according to the Stop the Harm database. 13,994 minors underwent sex change treatments.
What the fuck do you need that shit for, bro?
8,507.
Who the fuck do you think you are where you think a child needs to go through a transitioning surgery before they're even 12 or 13? That's sick. That's so disgusting. They haven't even had their first, like, sexual experience, and they better goddamn well not have at that age. Like, dude,
received hormones and puberty blockers. More than 62,000.
Yeah, they haven't even been through. How could you know that that you're the opposing gender if you haven't even been through puberty yet? Like, it's so brain dead.
Prescriptions written for children.
Wow,
it's just staggering.
It's just sad to see.
It is truly medicalized child abuse, and people sometimes ask.
Absolutely is. And what they need to do is they need to, if these kids they grow up and it's already started happening. Families are winning. Well, not families, but the kids that had this done to them are now winning lawsuits against these doctors. And what needs to happen once they do that, they need to have criminal charges filed against them for malpractice and negligence. Because if you have a family that goes to you, and the first thing out of your mouth, instead of saying maybe seek out mental help and stuff like that, is, well, it's because they're a man trapped in a woman's body or a woman trapped in a man's body. Yo, thanks for the 3. Hell yeah. Oh damn, a super chat. Didn't say anything though. How is it that you are even in that position and hold that power and knowledge, yet you choose to do this? And then you turn around and you tell this family that if they don't do this to the child, that there's a good chance they're gonna, themselves. And it's like, come on, seriously.
Where were the parents? Well, I think many children will tell you this story, and I think Chloe would tell you this story, that many times parents were coerced. They were told that if they don't go along with transitioning their kids,
they might lose custody of their kids.
Their child will commit suicide. Would you?
There it is. There it is, boys. Bro said it. Spoke the words.
Rather have a live
Oh
son
yeah, there's that too.
Or a dead daughter. I can think of nothing more inappropriate, nothing more unethical than that kind of coercion.
Yep, and it
absolutely fucking agreed.
Built on a lie. So here's what has to happen, okay? Is that now that we've established that...
Yeah, it looks like there's about 5,747 doctors that need to go to jail. Man, I guess we're just going to have to make like a new Alcatraz or something. Damn. Them work camps, that shit might actually be useful, huh? Great way to make money.
And we know the people that it's happened to. Every medical procedure has documentation.
Yep.
Every single surgeon, every doctor, every person that pushed this on children needs to be held accountable. And they need to be held criminally accountable.
Yep.
Because this is what these people did. You have to put them in jail. And retroactively, everybody knew this was wrong. We all knew this was wrong. There's nobody out there that thinks that, oh, well, we weren't really sure about this. It could have gone either way. Every rational, normal person that's like the Nuremberg trials. And these people are nowhere near Nazis. Don't get this wrong. But it's the concept of, I was just following orders. That's nice. No, turn around and face the wall.
Exactly.
I don't think we should.
Exactly.
Should shoot him. But I think it should be really bad. I think that it should be so bad for these people that there is a page of this in the history book that is discussed in 100 years.
Yep, I agree.
That's my outlook on it. I think we need to go that far.
Like, if you're a parent and you go to a medical professional and the first thing out of their mouth is, well, it might be because they're the opposing gender, you should just straight up sue that fucking institution. That should never come out of a doctor's mouth. Ever. And that shouldn't even come out of a parent's mouth. Let that child decide what they want to do with their body when they turn 18. They are as a child, you are expecting your adults in your life, the people that are your guardians, to be your fucking guardians. How do you even, like, I'm not even gonna lie, like, I'd probably go to jail for assault if somebody had said this to me about my child. I'd beat the fuck out of them. Because I'm going to you as a vulnerable parent, expecting you to give a professional opinion, and you're forcing ideology down these parents' throats. You're a fucking sicko. It's predatory in nature. You're disgusting.
And if we go that far, it's not going to happen again. 2 to 3 years Dagestan? Yeah, exactly, right? That should have been the real solution. And so lose their license? No, we can't lose their license, and then they go on a book tour talking about how they're a fucking victim. Oh no, you want to be a victim.
When you start working and making your own money, and you turn 18, and you don't need a parent's signature to effectively ruin your life if it's the wrong decision. What's happening here is, instead of them doing it to themselves, they're blaming their parents and these medical professionals, rightly so. It's a lot easier to blame yourself if you turn 18 and you make the decision to get a dick tattooed across your face, okay? You can't blame the tattoo artist. You're an adult. You're 18.
Good. We'll make you earn it. I think you go to prison. All of these people, send these fucking people to prison.
Exactly.
Send them to prison, charge them with other types of child
Yes,
molestation,
sir.
and then let the prisoners there deal with them, and we'll see what happens.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. We all know what's going to happen, and it's going to be great. And that's it. And so anyway, crucify them literally? Well, we won't need to. We can outsource that to the prisoners that are already there. And this data only goes up to 2023. Yeah, it probably was worse in 2024. And how would you go that far? What's the appropriate punishment in your eyes? I would look at what is the crime of, like mutilating a kid. What can you charge somebody like that with? What is like grooming? What is like, giving kids like, like sexual, any sort of like, what are the crimes and the charges?
That's
and
bitch.
You could always invent a new one too, by the way.
There's a moderator in
there's
chat.
also the possibility that
He has my number. He messages me. So if you're doing something retarded and I see it, I'm going to get you. We do have a moderator.
You just invent a new law, and then you just apply that to them retroactively. It's pretty simple. And so, stick cut, yeah, you're not seeing the whole picture here? Oh, I unfortunately, I think I am. And so, yeah, really, that's what I would say. I don't think you can charge them retroactively. Why not? Who decided that you can't do that? What do you mean you can't? Again, you just do it.
Exactly. And that's not even like the full thing of it. If you're a child, how do you know what the difference between a man and a woman is? Why would you need to know that before you've even hit puberty? Why the fuck would you need to know that? Maybe whenever some things start happening a little closer to puberty, maybe, sure. But until you've started getting attracted to, like the opposite sex, like, the fuck you need to get puberty blockers for? You haven't even been through puberty. How would you know? Like, no, dude.
No, again, people not really thinking about this the right way. What do you mean that you can't do something?
And even more so, you're a fucking child. You don't need to be doing that shit anyway. Do that shit when you're an adult.
You can do anything you want. So, yeah, charge them as pedos, maybe, right? And throw the parents in jail, too. Throw the parents in jail.
That's why there's a fine line with that. Now, if you have a parent openly saying that that's what their child is, I feel like they should really do a thorough investigation and probably end up taking the child away and put the parent in jail for some kind of like syndrome. But like a Gypsy Rose is a good example of that syndrome, actually, where like you make the child sick so you can get like attention. And that's what needs to happen with that for sure. But like whenever a parent goes to a medical professional and the first thing out of their mouth is, well, it's probably because they're the opposing gender, and if you don't do this, you're not gonna have a daughter anymore or a son. That's a fucking problem.
I actually have more empathy for the parents than I do for the doctors and the medical professionals.
They're supposed to be the be-all, end-all. When you go to a medical professional, you want them to be professional. You want them to be like the best they can be, especially whenever you're trusting your fucking child to them.
Let me explain the reason why. I think that there are instances where, like, for example, if any of these things were done to a person under the age of 12, I think that, like, consequences for the parent should absolutely be on the table. But Reddit is not happy. So total detransition or death. Like there is a huge issue that I think the trans community has with the fixation around killing people. There is an obvious and deliberate fixation that a small subset of the trans community has around any type of a disagreement is let's kill these people. How many trans memes have you seen that the punchline is that somebody gets killed? I actually saw a joke about this. Here we go. Let's take a look at it. So this is the clip. This is the original clip. Then we're going to watch the context.
I think we should start killing kids until they let us use whatever bathroom they want.
Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. And you worried about Nazis?
I think we should.
How are people clapping and laughing to this?
So people said, no, guys, it's out of context. Let's hear the context.
I think that's true. I think that we've experienced the last handful of years where trans people have tried to get our acceptance by being nice, being accessible, being the kind of person that you would be comfortable with,
Yes.
babysitting your kids or whatever.
Let us near your kids or we're going to kill you.
You really want the same person that's talking about killing children near your child? That doesn't seem like a good idea.
Y'all need to get this shit out of your... If you're a normal trans person, you need to get these freaks out of your community.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do.
They are hurting everything that you guys have built up over the years. These radicalists like this, these people are gonna make people alienate this culture altogether. They are undoing years of hard work and dedication that this culture has put together in a matter of a few years because of these radicals.
To be more trans people that openly say this person is a fucking idiot, this person is a psycho, and they do not represent me or the community.
Exactly.
Normal trans? Yeah, I mean, listen, even if you think trans isn't normal, just being trans and being this, that's a huge fucking difference, isn't it? That's a massive fucking difference. There's people that just want to dress up and pretend to be another fucking gender, and then there's people that want to do that, and if you disagree with them, they want to kill all the kids. That's a big fucking difference, guys. Huge fucking difference.
I think we should start killing kids.
This is the logic.
He's streaming to 157 incels with no hair, LOL. Well, you're just being retarded. I have hair, stupid ass. I have hair, bruh. I actually cut my own hair. I save a lot of money doing it, too.
Until they let us use whatever bathroom they want.
I have the headphones on because this shit hurts my ears. I mean, I have the hoodie on because the headphones hurt my ears. The cups fuck my ears up, bro.
Wow.
Are there any cis people here? Would you raise your hand, please? Hey, sir, how many kids would you kill for trans rights?
None.
Uh-huh.
Hundreds. Give it up for him, everybody.
What?
Man, how about that? And so anyway, this is their joke. Yeah, and there have been so many instances of these people doing this. Total detransition or death. Female to male to female detransitioners are some of the weakest, stupidest people that have ever existed. I despise them deeply for their cowardice that oozes out of every single one of them. Because of people like them, trans boys aren't getting proper health care so that female puberty doesn't deform them. I hate cis people because they are hateful and evil. So I just got finished injecting... Oh, here we go. I just got finished injecting gray market testosterone into my thigh. after I bought with needles that I bought with my own money, right after being dropped off in my dorm by my extremely transphobic father, whom I'm hiding my transition from. Do cis people think that we do shit like this because we find it funny? That we should be forced off of the hormones and then we'll be fine? That we're addicts or something like that? They're demented and I hate them. This woman should have lost all of her money and they should have filed bankruptcy to deal with it. That's what you get for being an idiot. So there you go, guys. And so these people are clowns. Exactly. The gray market government. Well, I have no idea.
That's crazy.
This is a person who's mentally ill. This is a retard. And so the problem is that
so this person is like openly stating that people that detransition are failures.
These people
that's so
have
sick.
been enabled by society. And this is the result of that enabling. So here we go. American self-identification as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, something other than heterosexual. It has gone down for the first time in over 10 years.
That's
So
insane.
you're starting to see a lot of people like, and this is the reason why, is that I think it's very obvious that like there are two things that are true. Number one is that a lot of people
They
didn't.
should have just kept the kids out of it. Just leave the kids out of it. That's all you got to do. Leave the kids out of it and don't throw a tantrum because you're not being called an attack helicopter at a GameStop. That's all you got to do. It's not complicated. That's all you have to do. Don't be a jackass. People aren't asking for much. They're asking for the bare minimum. The bar don't go much lower, boys. So apparently Bill Gates, you know what? It doesn't even matter. Let me speak on Bill Gates' behalf. I don't give a fuck that Bill Gates slept with Russian hookers in a foreign country. They weren't underage, so I don't give a fuck. If Bill Gates ruined his own marriage, that's his own problem. He's an adult. He can solve his own goddamn problems. He's one of the richest men in the world. He'll figure it the fuck out. I don't care about that. What I want is to see the people that hurt these minors, that are in our politics, and these rich motherfuckers go to jail. That's what I care about. That's all I'm going to speak about when it comes to Bill Gates. Now, if Bill Gates had done something with inappropriately with an underage minor in these files, he needs to be lined up with the rest of them. That's all I'm going to say about Bill Gates.
Apparently just name the people in the files that were being redacted.
Congress created the Department of Justice. Congress funds the Department of Justice, and Congress is responsible for the oversight of the Department of Justice.
And you're in Congress.
When will we see justice?
How about
I'll tell
right
you
now?
what I've not seen. I've not seen any arrests from the revelations.
True, it's embarrassing. The UK is 2-0 on us.
In the Epstein files, over 3 million documents describing horrible things, describing unspeakable things, much of it redacted. Over 24 people have resigned, CEOs,
24.
members of government worldwide.
Why would they do that?
But I haven't seen any arrests or investigations here in the
Interesting.
United States from this Department of Justice.
Very interesting.
Prince Andrew, Duke of York, has
Yep.
been arrested. Peter Mandelson, he's been arrested. Former Prime Minister of Norway has been charged. But we don't see any charges, arrests, or investigations in the United States. Who are the men that should be investigated? I'll name them right here. Leon.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'll name them right here. Leon Black. You don't even have to see past the redactions.
Guy is worth $13 billion. Between 2012 and 2017, gave Epstein roughly $150 million. And this was way after his initial convictions. Most mails are redacted, but there is one where Epstein directly mentions him. While writing to Israel, former Prime Minister Ehud Barak.
To see that this man needs to be investigated. Jess Staley, accused of terrible things.
Jess Staley, former CEO of Barclays and JP Morgan executive. He was the executive primarily responsible for managing Epstein's accounts for years after the initial 2008 conviction. The two exchanged over 1,200 mails between them, some of these with extremely cryptic language. When the full extent of their ties surfaced, Staley was forced to resign, and JP Morgan agreed to pay $290 million to settle a lawsuit brought by Epstein's victims after the US bank ignored warning signs about its client during a 15-year relationship.
It's right there in the files. Why is he not being investigated? And Leslie Wexner.
Why the most powerful man, the richest man in Ohio, gave so much of his wealth to the largest modern sex trafficking ring in American history.
He would say, like, I'm providing financial advice to the founders of Google.
Wait a
Providing
minute.
financial advice to Jeff Bezos.
That's
Why would you sign your friend Leslie to someone you did not consider to be a friend of yours?
It's a mystery.
Why did the
It's all a mystery, right? Remember, to boot, with all these files, there was never there wasn't enough information to do an investigation. Remember that. That's the bullshit they fed you.
him as a co-conspirator and then tell him that they had no questions for him? Well, the Epstein Files Transparency Act requires the DOJ and
To
the
explain
FBI
that.
to disclose to us their internal memos and emails about how they made those decisions, whether to prosecute or not prosecute. Yet they have not delivered those memos.
They haven't delivered shit. They haven't done a damn thing.
Still don't have the memos and documents and emails from 2008.
Everybody that's been implemented in those files needs to be removed from the government. They need to be rounded up, and they need to be put somewhere where they can be held until they do a full, thorough investigation with the involvement of the public now, since the government doesn't want to do its fucking job. And they can make a decision from there, and then single-handedly crucify these people and put them on the White House lawn. That's what needs to happen with these people. If they had not because they were involved, if they did anything wrong in those files. I don't give a fuck about the guy that cheated on his fucking wife. That's drama. I don't give a fuck about that. Who hurt these kids? That's what we need to be figuring out. Who hurt these kids? And we need to go Old Testament on them. We need to bring them and go straight up scorched earth on them. That's what we need to do. Let J.D. Vance run the government. He's a fantastic fucking speaker. He'll be able to run for 2 terms after he gets done running the government. If it comes to that, if Trump comes to find out there's nothing that happened in there, bring him back in, let him run the country. But something has to give here.
To explain why Jeffrey Epstein was given such a light sentence in what would have been an open and shut case.
20 years.
This stunning, never-before-seen prosecution memo and draft indictment detailing the disturbing evidence they gathered against the financier. But that 60-count indictment never filed. Instead, Epstein landing the now infamous deal allowing him to plead guilty to lesser state prostitution charges.
Which allowed him to go back and recommit these terrible crimes.
Exactly.
Hundreds
Over
of more
10 years
victims.
after that.
We need justice. We want the Department of Justice to get to work, and that's what
happens when you remove the president. A lot of people, they just want Trump to not be in office. You do realize that if they remove the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, J.D. Vance is going to take over by default. He's the vice president, you fucking dimwits. And if you think Trump's viewpoints are bad, at least J.D. Vance knows how to say it outright.
they need to do now.
So keep advocating for the removal of Trump. He's already gone scorched earth on all this fraud. Just imagine what he's going to do for immigration.
Should do next.
At least he just fucking says it. He doesn't waste anyone's time.
These guys need to be investigated. You need to create documentation. Like, it sounds stupid, but I think you really should do this. Create a infographic that explain why each of these individuals.
It just blows my mind how many people are just so fucking dumb. They were trying to use the Epstein files for the longest time to get Trump removed. If Trump gets removed, you do realize the vice president, J.D. Vance, takes over the presidency. That's how it works. It's chain of command. That's how you know some of these motherfuckers aren't even from America. They don't even know the chain of command. They don't even know how it works. It's beautiful. It really is. That's how you sell yourself when you sound like that, by the way.
Needs to be investigated, and then the different connections with everything.
If J.D. Vance has to become the president in absence of Trump, he can run for 2 more terms. He never got elected. He got given the position because of the absence of the current president. It's not something he technically wanted. He has to step up to the role.
right? Like that meme of like the guy that's pointing on the fucking thing with like all the different connections. You need to get like your staffers or, you know, like get somebody out there who's going to be able to put that together.
And the best part about it is, if somebody, and I honestly, this is one of the reasons why I don't want Trump to be the president. There's so much stipulation with those goddamn files that everything that Trump stands for is, it could be completely null and void. And you know these motherfuckers are going to use this to be like, well, the last person that thought that is a big old, you know, a big old, it was with Epstein and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, he hurts everybody that wants this simply by just being in these files. A part of me wants Vance to run because guess what? If J.D. Vance is running the country, then they don't have anything anymore. It's all gone. All of it. There's no Epstein. There's no what he said in a bus 5,000 years ago. There's no nothing. They have 2 internet memes of J.D. Vance apparently fucking a couch and drinking horse semen. That's all they got. They got nothing else. And they know it. So I don't know what brain dead ideology wants Trump out so bad that they don't even realize that Vance's political views are more intense than Trump's, and he just says it. He gets shit done. He got the shit in Minneapolis solved in a day.
Like, honestly, just like hit up CoffeeZilla, probably do it for free. Fuck, I mean, it probably already halfway is done anyway.
There we go. Here we go. What's this?
New York's new mayor basically.
Hold on. What is this? We got another decoy video. When was this? This was an hour ago. Let's go.
Cold open season on NYPD as apparently New York's new mayor basically called open season on NYPD as apparently you can send the police to the hospital with zero fear of arrest as a recent blizzard brought down 2 feet of snow, to which the responding police were immediately pelted by snowballs by a quickly growing mob of unemployed behavior.
The fuck's going on in New York?
NBG on the scene shows us they were actually being assaulted.
Just so you're aware, if you throw or spit or let's say you're on a road and you intentionally go over to the left-hand side and you hit a puddle so that way the puddle splashes somebody, that's a form of either battery or assault depending on what state you're in. So them throwing these snowballs at the police officers is technically illegal. But what's going on here? I'm so confused.
News seeing PD trying to OC spray their way out of there.
Damn, this is happening in New York? Why is anybody talking about this?
Eventually needing to full-on retreat from the growing mobs of EBT.
That was a big ass. Oh, that was a big ass ball. Bro, why are you standing out here in a fucking hot dog outfit? The fuck is that? You know, honestly, compared to how it was in Minneapolis, I kind of don't mind the snowballs. It's better than putting rocks in the snowballs or freezing bottles of water and throwing them at ice people. Like, honestly, as long as the snowballs aren't like fucking massive, there really shouldn't be any kind of like actual injuries. Like this is kind of like foreplay as opposed to like, you know, what was happening in fucking Minneapolis. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't that bad. It's not good, but it's not like people aren't risking the you know, getting run over or shot. You know what I'm saying?
Even though snowball fights seem insignificant, it's insane that they felt safe in attacking armed coppers, as reportedly, several officers were injured, actually sending some of them to the hospitals.
Damn.
With the Fed saying there needs to be prosecutions. And even though NYPD called for assistance in identifying some of these attackers, the police commissioner stated there was investigations. The governor brushed it off as unacceptable, with Mayor Mamdani basically saying nothing, only to later suggest,
man, you don't protect your police officers, you're not gonna be there for very long, I fear.
No charges.
From the videos
That's
that
crazy.
I've seen, it looks like a snowball fight. I think that there were 2 officers.
Yeah, but if it's so bad that people are ending up hospitalized, I mean, then there's obviously something more to it than that. Obviously. I mean, if you're in a snowball fight, you don't end up in the hospital with lacerations.
Who were facing lacerations on their face.
Call for prosecution of those who pelted them?
Look, I've seen the videos of this snowball fight. I think that it was a snowball fight.
The NYPD says no arrests have been made.
Again, basically,
it's so disrespectful to your own law enforcement, too. I mean, the whole point of getting up in the morning, ironing your entire uniform, making sure it's spick and span, does that just not mean anything whenever you're being pelted with fucking snowballs? Like, you do realize that those police officers have to spend the rest of their day sopping wet from all that snow, too. Being, like, in that amount of snow like that, it's not exactly pleasant.
Shrugging it off.
Like, especially if it melts and it gets in your shoes and you've got, like, trench foot. It's a pain in the ass, man.
They're looking for saying that they may have assaulted police officers. I wonder what your reaction to that is, if you think that they should be prosecuted if they're caught, and if you've talked to the police commissioner about that.
So I stay in regular touch with my police commissioner, and I appreciate.
I mean, they were throwing that shit so fucking hard that it was causing lacerations on their face. Holy crap, man. That's insane.
The work that she's doing. You know, I've said time and time again that having seen these videos, to me it was a snowball fight that got out of hand.
Well, usually there's also this expectation of consent when it comes to a snowball fight. Like, if you're not consenting to one side of that and you don't want to be pelted with snowballs, yet you're being pelted with snowballs, again, that falls into the battery/assault category. It's...
Nothing stops them from doing it again.
I've said that what I saw was a snowball fight. It should be treated accordingly. It was one that got out of hand, but that's what it was. Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, are you willing to revise your statement regarding the snowball fight, given that this was not exactly a friendly back-and-forth snowball fight? The police that were there were not throwing any snowballs. They were getting pelted themselves. And number 2, have you considered, or would you consider banning these crowdsourcing events, because they can and sometimes do get out of hand?
So I'm not going to be banning snowball fights or organized snowball fights.
As New York police now know, your boss sees no issue with you getting sent to the hospital.
I mean, do you really expect them to do anything less than that? Because they wanted to fund their own police departments. What better way to get them to leave than to just rile up a crowd and get them to pelt the police with snowballs, sending them to the hospital where they inevitably see no arrests from it? Like, when you think you're going to work for that station for very long, fuck no. If I was a police officer, I'd leave. I would just go to a different state. Straight up.
Surprise from the guy that previously thought cops crying is nature healing. And as much as it sucks to be NYPD under Mamdani, it's actually much worse to be a defenseless citizen under Mamdani. As when the police don't feel empowered enough to defend themselves from attacks, what makes you think they do more for random strangers than themselves? As all these idiots forget, defunding the police really means empower the predators, as Maryland is a prime example of what happens when the cops are too terrified to enforce the law.
Jesus, man, look at that.
Showing the moment a masked mob attacked a police cruiser in Maryland. The incident taking place during a chaotic street takeover over the weekend. As agitators...
Just imagine if that was like just a normal car filled with people, like you got your kids in the back seat, and you see this come over, and then think in the back of your head, what if they start breaking the windows out? They start dragging you out of your car, like one of your kids gets beat to death. Then you get like this fucking... You can't run them over because you'll go to jail, right? And then no one gets arrested and put in jail because of this. Think about that. This is the kind of world that these crazy people want everyone to live in.
Blocked traffic in all directions, while others performed high-speed donuts in their cars.
As previously, citizens were afraid to speed in front of the cops, but deep blue cities now look more like GTA 6 than America. And it's not like once these EBT tribes defeat the police, they suddenly become law-abiding citizens, incapable of assault.
Well, the issue is that they're let out the day after this happens to just do it again. There's no accountability.
And go back to their office jobs in accounting. No. Once they realize there aren't any consequences, they'll go on to victimize the same idiots who voted to castrate the coppers, cried away their own two-way rights, demanded unlimited amounts of unvetted individuals get free housing in their own neighborhoods, and always appear incredibly fragile and defenseless. And even though NYC has only seen warning signs so far, this is definitely going to become their reality. As Mom Donnie now moves to defund the NYPD, canceling 5,000 new police officers, totaling $22 million of police budget cuts, as he now has a $5 billion with a B deficit. And even though they're
I agree with that. I feel like if you are part of a group of people or you're just an individual and you're in the front of a vehicle and you're not letting them go by you and you're hitting the front of that vehicle and they run your ass over and kill you, well, maybe you shouldn't have fucking done it, dumbass. Maybe you should have done it. Maybe you should get out of the fucking road. That's exactly how I feel. But the issue is that you can do that in Texas and Florida. In fact, I have a video for that. I keep it in my spares. Fuck. If you do something like that in Florida, they back you. They're like, well, I mean, obviously you were scared, and you ran their dumbass over, then they got what they got. That's all there is to it. Here, I got a video specifically for that. Here we go. Check this out. Oops.
If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail.
This is what they need to do with those people that are out there doing this shit.
Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street.
Yes, sir.
If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail.
Yep.
If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have.
They are beautiful dogs, too. Florida has some lovely dogs, man. The pearliest of white teeth, sharp as razors.
Here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead.
There it is. That's exactly what every state needs to enforce right there. Word for word. If they did it, why can't we? Why can't they? It's so simple. It works too. You know why? You know how you know it works? You don't see any of this shit happening in Texas. You don't see any of this shit happening in Florida. You damn sure don't see any of this happening in Texas. If you walk up to a mob and you're carrying and you feel threatened, you have the stand your ground to back you. No. Not gonna play.
Not gonna play.
That's right. We're not gonna play. You wanna fuck around? Well, you gonna find the fuck out. And maybe the only time in your life you may find out. And it may be the last time in your life you may find out. But you'll find out.
Property taxes on regular citizens and writing their pensions. It's not for services for those same citizens, but free childcare for undocumented individuals that apparently don't even speak English.
Hola. Mi español no es el mejor.
Bringing in equally socialist and useless AOC to say, in Spanish, any parent in New York City, regardless of your job, income, or immigration status, can get, quote, free 3K or pre-K childcare services, aka paid for by other people's tax dollars.
That's crazy,
And
dude.
after
That's
what happened in
crazy.
Minneapolis, I wonder if that's code for foreign fraud, as that's their party's official priority. Why defend the police who defend the citizens that fund the city with their tax dollars when they only see them as low IQ tax cattle, whose only purpose is to provide the Democrats with votes and cash that is immediately turned over to their newcomers?
That's
I'd
right.
say this happened so gradually nobody even noticed, but no, this is only 2 months in. I just hope all these idiots leaving the city realize that this was their doing and don't vote for the same nonsense once they move away.
Mm-hmm.
So if you appreciate my concise,
That's right.
I'd order.
They're so captured that they don't even protect their own police officers. It's disgusting. It's awful, dude. It's genuinely just garbage. These people are just bad. Let's see. Let's go to Midwest Safety. Okay, let's see. Oof. What do we got? What do we got? Do we have any Karen ones? So like E, it's like EWE. Oh, whoops. E. What the fuck? Man, they don't upload too often, do they? If you're new to the channel, stick around. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11:30. We react to all kinds of stuff, all kinds of goodies. Depends on who uploads and who doesn't. And yeah. We have a TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, Discord. Got all the good things. Got all the things, man. Stick around. Show the love. Hit the like on the stream if you're liking the stream. I guess we'll do what not to do during a traffic. So let's do this one. Hopefully this is a Karen getting her shit handed to her. It looks like a Karen. I'm going to use the bathroom before we fully start this one, though. Give me a second. We also have a channel member program. You can join the channel member thing, and you get emotes that I handcrafted myself. You end up on the front of the channel. Okay, we back. We gonna finish this video up, and it is gonna be it, boys. Motherfucker, did I really just do that? Bruh. Literally got a Coke and immediately spilled that motherfucker. Immediately spilled that son of a bitch, too. God damn it. Over my blanket. Sticky now. Great. Fantastic. Love it. All right. Okay.
The reason I'm stopping you is registration.
It is. I just got it from my dad. Wait, no, it's not expired.
Okay, so here's the issue, right? That's not the license plate that's on the car. Okay, so
What license plate? I just got it.
It's a 2 Charles license plate. So even
You
if
mean a Canyon County license plate?
Canyon County license plate. So that's what's displayed. Okay, so if that's what is actually it's registered under, then what it is it's a fictitious display. You can't have an old plate.
Well, what do I do if I don't have the new plates delivered yet?
Take the old plates off.
Oh, I don't know. My dad was the one handling everything.
So yeah, as long as if you take the old plates off and just leave the temporary registration in the window, yeah.
Okay.
As long as you have a temporary registration in the window, you're okay, and we can.
You know, it's funny. I didn't know that either. I thought you just left the plates on until the new ones came in. But I guess that's I never had mine go like completely expired. So
see it, then you're okay.
So I'm free to roll these windows. It's kind of cold out here.
Yep, that's fine, man. Do you have info?
What's that?
Did he actually have a driver's license?
Yeah, South Carolina.
Okay.
Dude in the back. I didn't see him at first.
Yeah, I didn't. I barely saw like.
What the fuck? There was a person in the back seat?
I didn't see him at first.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I
Yo, that's kind of creepy.
I barely saw him as I walked up there. Wonder if he's got a warrant.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a seatbelt on.
I'm gonna see if I can get the backseat passenger's ID.
Yeah.
Here's this bag.
Thank you.
And then, can you roll the back window down for me, sir? This one?
No, there's no reason to.
This one? There is actually. I need to ID him.
Dad,
I do. He's not wearing a seatbelt.
What kind is in?
He's not wearing a seatbelt. It's a citable offense, so I need to know who I need to write that citation to.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, there it is. But what's he doing? What did he do? What did he do? Uh-oh. You fucked up.
I need to be able to identify him.
Oh.
Hey, sir. Let me see your hands, please. Hey, sir. Back seat. I need to be able to see your hands. Show me your right hand.
Do you care if I wake him up?
Sir, back seat, show me your right hand. Okay, keep that where I can see it, you understand?
Well, I guess he was awake. He was playing BS. Man, that's a bad idea to play BS with a cop. Oof. That's a losing battle right there, man.
I need you to put both of your hands on the back seat rest. Okay?
I ain't even gonna lie. If I had somebody in the back of my car acting like, I'd be like, dude, get the fuck out of my car. They gonna break my damn window and your ass is gonna get dragged out and I'm gonna be in some kind of bullshit. Get out of my car. Get out of my car.
Put your hands on the seat rest.
I didn't do nothing.
Put your hands on the back seat. Sir?
No, I didn't do nothing. But you did. You're not wearing a seatbelt, guy. That's a citation.
2214 code 1. Here's the thing, sir. Okay? I have a legal reason to identify you. I do. You weren't wearing your seatbelt.
The seatbelt doesn't work.
Okay. Either way, that's
it doesn't matter. It's a citation.
The issue is that you were not wearing a seatbelt.
I do kind of like that they give the citation to the person not wearing the seatbelt. That's what's up. I like that.
Ask you.
No. Though in my honest opinion, if I was driving a car and I've done this before, I've kicked people out of my fucking car. If you're not gonna wear your fucking seatbelt, then you can get the fuck out of my car.
I wouldn't, because he's an adult. If he was a minor, it would be. When I'm talking to you, you were hiding your hands from me. Okay, that is pretty suspicious. I have every reason to have you step out of the vehicle.
No, I am a minor.
He should get out of the vehicle.
If you just keep your hands where I can see them, Okay?
Does that look like a kid to you? I don't know about that. Is he really a minor?
What's your last name, sir? What's your date of birth? What year? 2000? So if you were born in 2000, that means you're not a minor like you were just telling me. Hey, stop fucking reaching. You understand me? Don't fucking reach. Roll your window down. You need
Bro's trying to go home to his family tonight, man. You over there reaching and shit? They tell you not to do something. They tell you to keep your hands at a certain spot, and you over there moving your damn hands around, and you wonder why people get shot. That's the reason why, right there.
Understand that I can control your movements right now. You understand that? So here's what we're gonna do. Put your hands on the back of the seat rest. Driver, unlock the car.
Hey, he gonna run? He gonna run? He gonna take off? Is it gonna be a chase?
Go ahead. We're not getting out the car. Hey.
Whoa! Woo! Oh!
Hey.
Shoot me then, oh!
You two, out of the car.
Shoot me then.
2014. Get out of the car. There they are. Yourself, get out of the car. Sorry, unit code 3. He's got a knife.
No!
Get away from him.
Get away from him!
No, get away.
Don't do it! Don't do it! No. Get back here, dude! No. Get back here! Don't do it!
Get back here, sir. Get back here.
What, you gonna shoot me too, man? Back over here, man.
Hey,
stop!
Oh, he running. You got a runner. Get him. Chase him down. Damn. Boy can run. Full blast, man. Took off like a bat out of hell. Damn, he's running full. They must be hitting them treadmills, man. You know what I'm saying? He's got that, like, that full face mask on with the purse, trying to, like, run from the police. He'd be hitting it, man.
Northbound vision. Just heard eastbound Highland. Black male adult. Tan jacket. Blue jeans. Armed with a knife.
Damn, he is booking it.
Sir.
Yo, the cop's out of breath. Oh,
no. Yep, he just went around this. Can be a black male adult, tan jacket, blue jeans.
Oh, there's no way this is the first time. I guarantee you this dude's got a rap sheet. There's no shot he doesn't. Bro's running because he's definitely done something he's not supposed to.
Currently at 517 Highland. He's in the, he ran back into this gated area. We need to start setting a perimeter.
Why do people that run from the police and actually manage to escape, why don't they keep running? Why do they always hunker down somewhere? You see, like, if the dude had just kept running, he probably would have got away. It's like, well, I mean, I guess they made one dumb decision, so you can't expect them to be smart, right? I mean, you ran from law enforcement.
We can get people to the east and south. Okay, just stay out of there for now. We got a suspect with an armed suspect back there.
Yeah, he's got a knife. You can take a hostage.
He took off running from us. Hey, we'll hold here. I don't have eyes on him. Sounds like he went running back that way. At this point, we just have R&O. I've got him.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm shocked that the police officer didn't shoot him.
Somewhat ID'd. I don't know if he has any warrants or anything, but he escalated it pretty quick and then pulled a knife out when I was trying to have him get out of the car. Dispatch was working on running him when this all kicked off.
And the sad part is that you're right. Usually these people are just fucking idiots. They're dumbasses. They end up getting caught for the stupidest reasons. Like, he totally could have just went through the back here, hopped over that fence over there with the trees and just ran through the forest. He probably would have spit him out at a different road somewhere. He'd be long gone by now. They didn't even have a good facial description of him. Like, he totally could have got away with this.
Call.
But he probably stopped in that little industrial area.
No. It'd be pretty weak.
He was the back passenger, trying to get him IDs, pretending to be asleep, doesn't have his seatbelt on, and then he reaches in his pocket. So we unholster.
Oh man, we got Kudrow. He's going in for a little snack today. Let's go.
He pulls out a knife. We know his name.
You think this guy will get bit? I'm hoping he gets bit.
Maybe. If he gave me the right name.
Have we gotten any return on him?
don't know.
As officers set up a perimeter and search the immediate area, a 911 caller reports seeing the suspect jumping fences and traveling through people's properties.
Okay, so he actually... Oh, damn. They're not fucking around with this dude. They're gonna find him.
Stop right there!
Oh my god, there he is. Look. Oh no.
On the ground. All right, I'm challenging him. He's coming at me with the knife. Stop right there!
Shoot his ass. I don't know if we can show that. Hold on, I don't know if we can show that. Hold on, wait a minute now. Let's calm down a little bit, huh? Calm down a little bit, huh?
Sure they'll find us. You guys all good? Yeah, he was just coming at me from here.
Yeah, we're gonna help you.
We got help. Me. I'm gonna go update.
This incident took place in Boise, Idaho on November 13, 2024. The suspect, 22-year-old Gabriel Pope, was shot 3 times during the incident and was
He lived. He's all good. He lived. Everything's good. It's no different than watching someone get hit by a car.
Provided medical aid before being transported to a near...
W police officer for knowing medical aid, bro. I don't know why we don't have more police officers that know how to do EMT and paramedic stuff. That's what we need to do. We need to teach these cops how to be paramedics and EMTs so that way if they gotta do something like that, then they can just immediately start do W police.
Nearby hospital. The officer who fired the 3 shots, Boise Police Corporal Steve Martinez, was placed on administrative leave after the shooting, while an investigation was opened into whether
That's
he was
standard.
justified
That's
or
standard in some states. It's just like a standard operating procedure, SOP. They typically do that to do a full, thorough investigation to make sure to see if there was anything else that could have been done. And in an instance like this, obviously there was, that was probably the most professional, thing I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding.
Pope, after being treated at the hospital, survived his injuries and was later charged with felony aggravated assault on law enforcement, resisting arrest, and providing false identification to law enforcement.
Well, I guess because he gave the wrong, he said that he was a minor, and then he said he was, 2000. So yeah, no, I could see it.
Attorney said that he has had a very traumatic life as his mental health.
Oh, that poor dear. Damn. I guess we got to put him in a mental asylum for the rest of his life then, right? Damn, man, if I knew that I could get away with crime like that growing up, just because I had a bad life, just a terrible life. But what is this mentality? What is this bullshit that these people, these lawyers are doing now? We need to patch this. This is obviously a fucking exploit. But we gotta patch this shit out of the game, man. What is this?
Health issues have caused him to commit crimes throughout his whole life.
Bullshit. You know who committed crimes throughout his whole life? Himself. That's who committed the crime. So what you're trying to tell me is, see now, if I was a judge and I read this, that would tell me that this person's not fit for society. Because if you have a mental illness that's making you commit these crimes all your life, then that tells me that you're not fit to be in society. We're not going to pad society because you don't know how to not bring a knife and start waving it around at a police officer. It means that you're not fit to be in society. Stop padding the world for these sickos. Put his ass in jail. Keep him there. Obviously, him having a mental illness that makes him commit crime means that he can't be rehabilitated. Well, what better reason to put him in jail for life?
He was a minor in September 2025.
Problem solved. Oh, well, you can't just put someone in jail for life. He didn't do anything. Okay, then put him in a mental asylum for life. If you're going based on, well, he has a mental health issues that make him commit crimes, okay, well, then that tells me that this person is just not fit to be out in public, period. Put them in jail. Keep them in jail. That's where they belong. I don't care what skin color, nationality, race, religion, give a fuck. If you're out there doing this and you got a lawyer saying that this is the reason why you're doing it, then you're obviously unfit for population. You need to go to jail, stay there. You need to go to asylum, stay there.
10 months after the incident, as part of a plea deal, Pope pleaded guilty to aggravated assault on...
Let me guess, he's gonna get out, right? He's gonna get out and it's gonna be like, what, a week? And he's gonna have 3 years probation where he's gotta wear an ankle monitor that he's gonna take off and then go into a subway somewhere and light somebody on fire, right?
With an enhancement for use of a deadly weapon during the commission of a felony, while the other charges were dropped. The judge, who told Pope he needed to, quote, grow up, sentenced him to 10 years in prison.
That's what I'm talking about! Let's go!
Possibility for parole after 4 years. She also urged the Idaho Department of Correction to provide mental health counseling, aggression replacement therapy,
locked up harder. And then they were like, okay, you got okay, here's your mental health stuff. Go do that shit in jail. Yo, Judge.
During his incarceration. In November 2025, a full year after the incident, prosecutors found the officer who shot Pope justified in his decision under
In second.
Reviewing
I don't want that to play again.
Seatbelt violation. A traffic stop feels normal to the public, but to officers it's one of the most unpredictable things we can do. Because the second passengers start reaching, hiding, or ignoring instructions, the officer's brain has to shift from paperwork to survival. And not because they want to, it's because...
Bro, I just can't stand this. Dude, like, I lived in a fucking trailer. We were borderline homeless whenever I was growing. We had no power, no electricity, no heating, no fucking water half the time. Sometimes we didn't fucking eat. That's why I'm so goddamn short. Like, I've grown up with ADHD and ADD. I had to take pills my entire fucking life. I still do. Otherwise, I can't fucking function. I'm mentally ill. I have depression. I have ADD, ADHD, depression, tics, impulses. This mental health bullshit, they need to take that shit and throw that shit out the fucking window. I've never been arrested. I've never been charged for anything. I've grown up in a really bad neighborhood. There were drugs, there were gunshots. Like, I saw a police shootout on my fucking street. I've seen it. I've lived it. You know what you do to not be part of that statistic? Don't get involved. Keep your head down, get through school, do your thing, and don't be a fucking problem. Why is this so hard? Why is this so fucking hard? Oh, well, it's because they had a bad life. I had a bad life. I'm not out there fucking with a knife at a fucking cop. Like, come on. My mom beat the fuck out of me. There were days I didn't think I was gonna make it to the next year. The fuck? What do you mean? It's just such a stupid ass thing to get, like, to try and get somebody off with. Like, it's so fucking garbage.
They have to.
It's a fucking slap in the face to people like me. It's like, ha 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 ha. Well, you're gonna go to jail now because you didn't really, you didn't do anything. And it's like, fuck, man. Or like, not that you didn't do anything, but because they don't have that, like, bullshit, like, backdrop thing in their life. It's garbage, man. It's garbage.
I missed this, but during a traffic stop, the officer isn't just watching the driver. He's watching every pair of hands in that car. So you don't reach, you don't argue.
No, I wasn't locked up by a cop. You know why? Because I wasn't a shithead going out in the middle of the streets waving a knife at police officers, or trying to do drugs, or trying to like, roll with a gang, and I didn't give a fuck about any of that, bro. I didn't give a boy. I had my own shit going on at home. I didn't need to fucking bring any of that dog shit back.
And you definitely don't create confusion, because one person moving when told not to can put everyone in danger inside their car. And we even see how chaotic it becomes because someone stepping out at the wrong time can unknowingly move into an officer's line of fire. Keep in mind, when someone runs and they're armed, officers don't know intentions, they read behavior. And a person advancing with a knife closes distance faster than most people realize. At that moment, an officer isn't judging a person's life, he's reacting to an immediate threat. Part that sits heavy with me is sometimes the person coming at you is clearly struggling mentally. If that doesn't make the danger smaller, it makes the decision harder. And yes, the officer goes home alive, but he carries the choice he never wanted to make.
That's right. Like, when you act this way in a community, you don't just hurt yourself. Like, it sucks that the cop had to shoot the dude. Like, nobody wants to deal with that. You hurt the cop's mental, like, psyche. You hurt your family members have come to find out you died because of that. You hurt everyone around you. Then you've got the person whose house you got shot at. They've got to live with the thought that someone died on my fucking property. Like, you don't just hurt yourself. You hurt the whole goddamn community. Then you got the other police officers that are even more intimidated and scared to go out there and try to do their job, because now you've got these other people that probably take this information, misinterpret it, and now they're attacking you. Like, you don't just hurt yourself when you get shot. You hurt everybody. This man probably had, the cop that had to do this probably had to go on administrative, not just administrative leave. He probably wasn't even making money during this investigation. And sometimes these investigations, they take months, if not years, to do a thorough one and make sure that what they did was right. Like, there's so many fucking people you hurt by acting this way. It's not just you, it's everyone around you. Stop acting this way. It's so fucking stupid and brain dead. All right, boys, we're rolling. Like I said, hit the sub button, hit the like button, stick around. We do it all. We do it Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 11:33. So, stick around. It's actually, we're we 3 minutes early. 11:30, you know what I'm saying? I'll see you boys tomorrow. Stay safe out there. Stay friendly. Make sure you don't do anything crazy. Stay away from the crazies who might end up reacting to you doing something stupid and laughing at your humility. Try to put a smile on someone's face. You might change their whole day or their whole life. You never know. And thanks for being you. And we'll be back on tomorrow, boys. Hit that sub button so that way you know when I go live. Hit that notification bell. Hit the like button. Do all the things, man. It helps. Peace.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad. I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been